the zone, breaking it down from her comfy throne. Smart as hell with a side of flair, politics sass and a killer stare. Casey's lurking tail in the frame, chat's already playing their games. ThatDarnKitteh, sharp and bold, hot takes drop while the chaos unfolds. Truth with bite, filth in the way, still showing up every streaming day. Brains and vibes, she leads the pack. Now buckle in, no looking back. ThatDarnKitteh, let's go!
What's up, nerds? Here is the furry microphone. Good morning. How are you doing? What's up? I see there's about 4 of you. Hi. So we're sticking with the Samsung camera. So let's hope that works. If my bell irritates you, let me know. It should probably be locked out by the noise cancelling. I realized that what happened with my previous reaction stream, because I'm using a virtual audio cable, we have scuff, okay? Because when I'm playing a video, it tries to equalize what's going on with my microphone. So whenever I'm trying to talk over a video, it goes blah, blah, blah. So what that means is Kitty got a pause when she talks. So that's cool. But we're not doing videos today, okay? Although, okay, so the plan is I'm going to do research stuff, just anything that comes to mind, right? We're going to fuel this with ADHD, okay? We're leaning into it, girls. So I'm going to do that, but we'll do a super chat goal, and fine. If we reach a super chat goal, I'll watch some stupid video that's recommended by chat. So that's what I'm going to set up right now. Should we say 10? Let's be a bit fun. Teal and okay, fine. Light blue or higher. Let's go there. That's fine. Let's relax. Set a timer for 1 hour. And what will we do to celebrate if we make the super chat goals? Kitty watches slop video recommended by chat. Okay. And we're starting the goal because we've started. By the way, Lord Cameron, nerds are awesome. Yes, nerd. Please review the guy in Latin America laughing about dongles. We could do that if we meet our super chat goal. So help encourage people to spend their dollary dues. Just remember, we can laugh at the nerds now, but eventually they'll join a black fraternity and have their revenge on you. Probably, yeah. But let's go and continue. Let's get going with the nerd stuff. Speaking of which, because that's the main thing. I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, I did the slop thing. Now we're doing research slop. Okay, we could find the slop, as in like go on like listicles, you know, like those kinds of things. And they're like, ooh, research shows blah 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 blah, and then we can go and look at the research papers. But I'm just gonna go. One of the things that I got curious about thanks to Zach's stream this morning was video games. Let's look at some video game research, boys and girls. So I'm gonna go to Google Scholar because we're gonna use whatever is open source for that. So let's go Google Scholar. I've got blocked ears. This is a problem. Let's get our background music up, courtesy of Creamage. Why are my ears blocked? I like our intro song. We have an outro song that I need to use because it's a reacting outro song. Again, courtesy of Creamage. Okay, there's our background music. All good. Okay, Google Scholar. Google Scholar. Ooh, dark mode. Yes, let's do dark mode. Try now. Give me dark mode. Oh, it's an extension. Okay, get. Sorry, I'm getting PDF reader. Weehee. Just look out for what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. I want to go to. Fine, we did the web store, but I want to go to Google Scholar now. Okay. And could we settings? Could we go into dark mode? Is there no library links? No. Okay, we have to continue this. Stand on the shoulders of giants. So we're going. Morning, guys. Hey, Wade. Don't you have rave music? I feel like earth stomping. We don't have copyright free rave music. But if we get some drum and bass going, I wouldn't mind that. That would get me going proper. But we're chill. We're trying to chill. I yell too much on this thing. Right. So let's see. What are we doing? We are doing video games. Video game violence. Okay. Right. So we have got that's it since 2024. Okay. Video games violence justification and child to parent violence. The effects of violence in video games and juvenile aggressiveness. So let's see what this if we're going to be able to see this PDF first of all. But you need some energy. Wait. I'll try and be energetic. Okay, here we go. Look, guys, for reacting to research, mostly I'm just going to be reading abstracts because it tells you what there is, and probably abstracts are the only things that will be available most of the time because I haven't sorted out my JSTOR and things like that memberships. So sorry, but yeah, let's see. Because you know the thing is, people go, "Oh, research shows." That's why I want to look at the research. That's what we're doing here. I'm doing good React content. Okay, right. Okay, Miriam Junko Guerrero. Where are these guys from? Child to Parent accepted 24th of April 2024. Published online. Okay. During the past decade, video games have become the main industrial entertainment sector. Although research on effects of violence in video games on juvenile aggressiveness has raised concerns that they may pose significant social risk. Okay, so yeah, that's the hypothesis. It's been like that since video games came out. It's like, oh, we're shooting people in video games. It's going to make us aggressive in real life. The objective of the study was to analyze the relationship of exposure to violent video games, pathological video gaming. Okay, pathological video gaming being addiction, but that's not the same thing as violent video games. Being addicted to something. Okay, let's see. And justification of violence with the perpetration of child-to-parent violence against the mother and the father, controlling for sex educational level and violent TV exposure of the participant. Okay. How do you control for violent TV exposure? Okay, let's see how they designed this research. It's basically that's one of the classes we did in it's what you do in the humanities. You try and make science out of human questions, and that's what they do with these things. You've got to see how they designed this research. Just to I know this is nerding. This is nerding hard because I'm like, how did you design the research? You've got your question. It's a great question, but how did you design it so that this answer it actually answers the question? The sample consisted of 439 students from a compulsory secondary education, 238 boys and 201 girls. It's not equal. Age between 13 and 18. Exposure to video games was assessed through an author-elaborated questionnaire. Yeah, I guess we have to have that. Qualitative data collection. It's the way it is. Violence justification. Okay, so whatever they mean by violence justification, sure. And pathological video gaming were evaluated with exposure to violence questionnaire. I want to see that. Do they have that in the... I don't want AI outline. I want my brain to read it and outline it. Exposure to violence questionnaire and the assessment of pathological computer gaming, respectively, and CPV was assessed through the child to parent aggression questionnaire. Yeah, all these nice tools. Hierarchical multiple regression analysis. So we go and we use our qualitative data and we turn it into quantitative data. Showed that pathological video gaming and especially justification of violence were related to the perpetration of child-to-parent violence against both mothers and fathers. However, a relationship of exposure to violent games and violence on TV with the perpetration of CPV was not found. Okay, so there's no correlation between the violence on video games and violence on TV. CPV was not found. These results suggest a potential new target for CPV prevention, as well as the treatment of juvenile offenders. Okay, this is one of the weaknesses of trying to study in the humanities. You go and you do these highly qualitative, highly emotional things, and you put them into a questionnaire and a survey or a what, and then that is supposed to. Then you go and you do all fancy maths with it, and you see it correlates, and we make these big claims about psychology from turning humans into numbers. And I guess that's what you have to do with any research. But the thing is, you got to see how you got to look at how each of it, how seriously you need to take their results, considering how they did it. That's what we did with research design and analysis. RDA. So, hey Jacob, how you doing? So pathological video gaming and justification of violence are related to the. So this is the highlights. This is what people, when they write articles about video game violence and things like that, they're like, oh, new study says pathological video gaming and justification of violence are related to the perpetration of child-to-parent violence against both mothers and fathers. It's related. So then they'll go and they'll say, it causes it. However, exposure to violent video games and violence on TV are not associated with CPV rates. Okay, so we both. So the thing is, when it's saying violent video games and violence on TV, then there's no. So if you only are getting, what I'm hearing here, guys, tell me if I'm wrong, is if you're only exposed to violent video games, then you're more likely to be violent. We can say you're more likely, okay, because it's a connection. That is all they're saying. It's connected. But if you have both, no connection. Interesting. Exposure to violence is ineffable. Teach your child to discern what violence is. A feeling that makes you lose control and break things. Emotional intelligence. Yeah, you need to do these things with any child. Especially children that have violent tendencies. I had anger issues, have anger issues, but I ain't killed nobody. Okay, or assaulted my family. Okay, my sister, but I never perpetrated proper violence against my. I pulled my sister's hair. Okay, like that's normal. But that was before the video games, actually. Okay, parental abuse by children, or child-parent violence, okay, is a phenomenon of great social importance. Hey, Davina. Hey, lovely Sherry. Parental abuse by children or child-parent violence, okay, that's what it's called, child-parent violence, is a phenomenon of great social importance that is generating interest among researchers and professionals due to its notable increase in impact on family dynamics. Yeah, it is a family dynamic. We have a violent family dynamic here. This is great. At the present, CPV is an emerging phenomenon with an increase in cases in recent years. Where, like, I feel like in the UK, there's going to be more of that. Because, I don't know, the youths in the UK are scary, boys. Like, seriously. They stab people. Family punch-ups. That is a better technical term, guys. I think that we should go and do a find and replace through the whole PDF and do family punch-ups. Okay. So, this was in Spain, and at present, CPV is family punch-ups is emerging a phenomenon with increasing cases. The Spanish Society for Study of Child-Parent Violence defines it as repeated behaviors of physical, psychological, verbal or non-verbal, or economic violence. Oh yes, that economic violence. Interesting. Economic violence. Like, do we call that stealing? Is stealing economic violence? Make children better at video games so they are better at violence. Historically, societies that are bad at war don't do well. Okay, get good is what Walls is saying. Yeah, get good and we'll be fine. What's granola? I've noticed a correlative effect between playing the original Nintendo Zelda and getting lost in a forest trying to find a princess. Yes, you see, granola. This is important research, and I hope that you publish soon. Okay. So let's see. Repeated behaviors of physical, psychological. Okay, so economic violence, guys. Economic violence directed at parents or those who take their place. Specific aggressions are excluded. Those that occur in a state of decreased consciousness, which disappear when it is recovered. Oh, okay, so we exclude drunken violence. It's just normal sober violence. I'm making fun of it, but this is what you do with your study. You say what the variables are. Or what the variables, what the definitions are. You're defining CPV here, so that's it. Specific aggressions are excluded. Those that occur in a state of decreased consciousness, which disappear when it is recovered. Intoxication, withdrawal syndromes, delusional states, or hallucinations. Those caused by psychological alterations, transient or stable, and parricide without a history of previous aggressions. Okay, so we take that out. That was in 2017. Yeah, I get so excited when it's like a date that's not too far away from when I was in varsity. Okay. Despite research conducted to establish the prevalence rates of CPV, studies have shown controversial results. Okay, what's controversial about that? Sober violence is an oxymoron. Yes, because you're intoxicated by violence. I get that. Wasn't that kid who came through his mom's basement door with an axe playing Call of Duty? She turned off his internet. Jeez. Wow. You can't pause an online game, Mom. Okay. Where we at? Okay, this discrepancy is due to different definitions of CPV. Yes, that's what you've got to figure out, which is, so if you do a meta-analysis, CPV can be this, CPV can be that. We got to figure out what everybody means when they say CPV, as well as differences in data collection methods. Yes, that happens. We don't do things standardized in the humanities as much as they try and say so. I say we as if I'm part of it still. No. In addition, estimating the prevalence of CPV is challenging due to underreporting. Sorry, my kid completely beat me up last night. I would really like to report this. Yeah, that's not happening. Hey, Zax, we are talking about video games. We're looking at research here. Video games and video game violence and violence against parents. Okay, so apparently what we've had so far in the abstract of this study is that if your child is exposed to violent video games, there is a correlation. There will be will probably be more likely to be violent towards the parent. But if it's violent video games and violent TV, no correlation. So I don't know, maybe expose your children to violence everywhere and they'll be fine. But if you keep it isolated, there's a correlation. Despite research, blah blah blah, the prevalence, small number of cases. In addition, estimating the prevalence of CP is challenging due to underreporting, with only a small number of cases ever being reported. Like, they're not going to report as well. You're including in your CPV in Spain, I suppose. They're talking about economic violence against parents, that's that's stealing from your parent. They haven't. I mean, I can go and look at those studies. This is how it would happen when I was writing my essays, and I was doing research for them in psych. I would go and citations are not a good idea for people that tend to be a little bit out there, because I would go and read this one. Now I would go and read this and run off, and I would have to put this into my references because I read a little bit of it, and that's it. Sounds kind of bogus. Yeah. That almost sounds made up. So anyway, let's see. It's so underreporting. So what I'm saying is, report when your child economically violently hits you. In addition, estimating the prevalence of CPV Shannon, this may occur because parents often experience feelings of guilt and shame when considering reporting their child's behavior. Yeah, I would say so. Okay, and yeah, there we go. We have you say this, you gotta put your quotes in there. So raise your kids on heavy metal, violent video games, and violent TV. It'll be fine. Yes, all of the violence, and it'll be fine. Daisy keeps starting fires and setting off the high rises fire alarms. She's hungry. Is that CPV? I think that is, what would we call it? Let's see. It says verbal, so it's physical, repeated behaviors of physical, psychological, or economic violence. Yeah, it's physical violence. I think fire is pretty physical. It's just the motivations are not part of the definition. Okay, moreover, prevalence figures vary depending on the sample studied. Really? Clinical samples tend to exhibit similar prevalence figures to those found in general population, whereas judicial samples demonstrate higher rates of physical and psychological violence. Yes, because if we're getting it all the way to court, that's going to make sense, right? If we're getting it all the way to court, there's going to be more violence because we've now kept it away from privacy. Now it's become the state's problem. Makes sense. International prevalence rates of CPV vary depending on economic status, socio-demographic variables, or family structure. Previous research indicates that CPV occurs in a range between 5 and 22% of the population. What, of all population? Of the whole world, guys. That's it. Okay, obviously you would have to go and see what he means by this. Studies involving specialized samples, such as young people referred from clinics, okay, justice centers, or from homes where domestic violence is present, suggest rates near upper end of this range. Yeah, that I don't feel like video games are the things that are involving there. It's like, oh yeah, there's video games there as well. It's like, yeah, but you got a whole bunch of other shit going on in your life. Longitudinal studies carried out with community samples in the United States and Canada have shown that, yeah, of course, so centric. We just use the USA and Canada, and that's the world. Long studies carried out community samples in the United States and Canada have shown that the prevalence of physical CPV ranges between 11% and 22%. So 11 and 22%. You got 11 and 22%, between 11 and 22% chance of having a family punch up Zax, while psychological CPV ranges between 51 and 75. Yeah, of course. Listen, parenting involves psychological violence, I would say. Listen, just listen, once I was a kid, and fighting with your parents psychologically occurs. That's what I would say. Yeah. Satanic video games. Never trusted Angry Birds. Angry Bird was good for you. Just Saturday nights, all right for fighting. Saturday nights would be, no, ours would be Sunday nights fighting, because we get pizzas and we watch a movie, and then somebody doesn't like the movie, or somebody has a theory about the movie, and then we all argue with each other. You know, that's psychological violence. While psychological CPV ranges between 51 and 75%, yeah, it's a lower threshold for Kitty hankering for a spanking. Yeah, we got spanked. Did you guys get spanked as kids? Or you're too young for that now? Were you born in the era of no hitting, the gentle parenting era? While psychological ranges, in Canada, a study by reported prevalence rates of 12% for physical aggression. Yeah, so I would think that aggression is less prevalent than psychological, because it's easier to do the psychological, and yeah, aggression is less, will be reported less. Actually, both things would be reported less. Anyway, over a 6-month period in Spain, where most field studies have been conducted. Okay, so Spain, we're just talking about Spanish. Where is Andrew here? The Andrew's animation guy, he's from Spain. He needs to tell us what's going on with Spain, why Spain is so focused on violence towards parents. In Spain, where most field studies have been conducted, the prevalence rate ranged from 21% for physical violence, wow, and 46% for emotional abuse. I don't know, man. Children will emotionally abuse you because they're children. My dad would call it coming to an understanding. On the other hand, research on this phenomenon in countries such as Latin America is very limited because they're like, I'm busy parenting my child. Fuck off. I'm not going to record this shit. Don't come in here and tell me and ask me questions about how I'm doing it. However, in Chile, recent studies shown a prevalence of psychological CPV towards both parents of 76%. Again, the psychological, I'm like, you got to tell me, show me they must have an appendix here with the questionnaire in it. 7.4% of physical violence and 40.8% of economic violence. Tell me what this economic violence is, and I'm trying to hold still and not go to the citations. Okay, this lack of knowledge about the prevalence of this phenomenon and its frequency indicates a need for further research. This is usually what you're doing with your academics. In your research paper, you say, hey, this is what we know about it, but hey, we need to do more research. That's why I'm doing more research, and that's why we were able to, why we got a grant to do this. That's basically how it's going. CPV is recognized as growing phenomenon. Consequently, recent research, I seriously want to know if they did any of this in the UK, because UK youths, boys, scary stuff. CPV is recognized as growing phenomenon. Consequently, recent research has focused on identifying the risk factors for its occurrence. Yes, risk factors. That's what they're doing. It's a risk factor. So it's like, are there violent video games in this household? CPV is on the rise. Regarding individual factors, studies suggest that variables such as alcohol and drug use, symptoms of depression in offenders, and the presence of dysfunctional components of social cognitive processing in aggressors are associated with high. I could have told you that because that's just how it goes, but you have to prove it. You can't just say, hey, this is what I think it is. It sounds right, which is what a lot of people do anyway. Other studies have identified family variables as risk factors, but take away the video games. That's it. The video games are the linchpin. The video games are the catalyst. Okay, so the dynamics of the family, that's base. That's just maybe it has a bit of an effect. Video games, that's the one. Okay, other studies have identified family these variables include childhood abuse from parents to children, which supports the hypothesis of bidirectionality of violence, as well as exposure to violence at home and the use of punitive strategies. If we use punitive strategies, we're going to be violent. My parents used the skinniest rod you could get so it would break before it would cause any harm. But it did stink. I mean, it probably stank too, Jacob. Violence is in our DNA as well as socially promulgated, in my opinion. It's underlying a lot of a lot of interactions, especially between men. Well, actually, just we're still animals. It's at the bottom of all of this stuff. We're making calculations of this person can kill me. Okay, cool. Well, at least you're supposed to be doing that with your size, and unless you're watching Hollywood movies and you think if you're 5 foot and 100 pounds and you can take on a full-grown man and you'll be fine. Social factors have been less extensively studied to date, but research suggests there's negative social influence of experienced intimate partner violence. I'm pretty sure negative experiences of such things will coincide. During adolescence may increase the risk of engaging in CPV. Yeah. It's like you've seen violence. That's it. It's normal for you. Howdy, hey, J-Mac. We're talking some parenting stuff. Yeah. So we're talking about violent video games. You were there when you were young and everything, stinky stick. Yeah, everything was blamed on video games for a while, and it comes up every now and then whenever there's a school shooting or something like that. So I just thought we could look at some of the research, because people go, oh, research shows. Well, this is a research thing that was published in 2024, and it's about exposure to violent video games and how that coincides with violence towards parents. So interesting. J-Mac, I would assume that you haven't been beaten up by your child. But if you have, you should report it, because there's a problem with underreporting these things to people. But seriously, there are real cases of kids properly beating up their parents. I know that. But what they're trying to do is see if there's a correlation between video games and that. Whereas they've seemed to have found a correlation between violent video game exposure, but not TV. So if you have violent video games and violent TV, there is no correlation. But if you have just video games, then there's a correlation with violence towards your parents. And this can include economic violence, which is interesting. Economic violence, I would expect, is is stealing. So you would steal for your battle pass, I suppose. Your parents knew the switch would turn your soft side into iron side. Also the economic violence. Yes, economic violence. I could go into the studies, but they haven't spoken about exactly what economic violence is. Yeah, just the only thing I can think of is they're going into your purse and using your credit card to get their V-Bucks. Along these lines, some authors have proposed theoretical frameworks to explain CPV. I love that about psychology. That's what we do, theoretical frameworks, with the aim of guarding professional intervention and legislative guidelines. The general strain theory, wow, from 92, proposes that CPV is an aggressive response to the stress and problems faced by young people in their social environment. Sounds about right. It's a good theory. Furthermore, the social learning theory, Bandura, posits that CPV is a behavior that can be learned by young people through modeling by parents, siblings, or other peers. I like that as well. Oh, this is just making me miss my textbooks. Because they had nice sections where it'd be like introduction, and you would have like a whole thing about Bandura, about the social learning theory and all of that. I need to see if I meet up with my parents, because I might meet up with them in Europe. I'll ask them to bring my psychology textbooks. My big fat psychology textbooks, just so I can have them. I roughhouse with my kids, but I'm a very authoritative person. I think you look that way as well. You're quite authoritative looking. So it never gets too rough. My kids play violent video games, but we've always made sure to separate fantasy from reality. Yeah. Do your kids get angry at the video games? Like, because that's what I would get. I would get very angry because I'm not good at video games, right? So I would get like properly rage. I'll show you a video of me rage quitting. But as a kid, I was even worse. I would like bang on the table and whatever if I was getting something wrong, and my parents would just go, "Hey!" and just yell at you like, "Hey, stop it!" So just shut up. Don't do that. But the thing is, if we're talking about social learning theory, my dad would also yell when he was playing poker. Okay, he would. So you guys have heard me always knocking on the table and things like that with rage. My dad does that when he's playing games and things like that. So I learned it. It's his fault. So yeah, there's truth to it. I've decided. My daughter has a temper like me, but because it's something I had to work with, I knew how to approach it. Yeah, you don't like. I have a temper like my dad had a temper. I think my temper is actually worse than my dad's. But it's kind of like I remember speaking to my dad about my temper and saying, you know what, actually, sometimes the rage feels so good because it's a release. And he was like, cool, I understand that and whatever. So I remember actually having these conversations with my dad, which is just one of the great things about parenting and having a relationship with your parent, is being able to talk to them about these things. She's able to separate herself and channel her temper into something else. I tried, and it was kind of also the kind of like, I don't think my temper was channeled elsewhere. Yeah, kitty rage. There's literally a rage emoji. What's the name? Because I do tend to rage, but it's not real rage. I'm not going to hit you. I'm just going to hit objects. Only daddy can tame kitty. No. Yes, it's my dad and I would yell at each other. Yeah, see. Because it'll be like, fine, let's go. Let's go. I can yell louder than you. And then eventually he would get really angry and you'd be like, oh, okay. We actually would yell more than anything else. Okay. Furthermore, but now I'm chill. I'm chill, bro. I'm so chill. That one? No, there's literally for members. It's I'll put it in here for you. Oh, we have. Hey, this is supposed to go towards the goal. It's a super sticker. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's not. It doesn't go towards the goal. But we got a super sticker of a cool face. Thank you very much, Granola. It's not showing. It doesn't show up on. So it'll just say super sticker, but it's like the cool sunglasses emoji. Sun simulator patent. Just hold on. Here's the rage. Here you go. There. But you see, get your shit together, StreamYard. Okay. Let's go. Let's see. We're still writing here. Okay. Do I need this to be running? You don't need to run. Okay. Okay. Where are we at? Professional intervention. Okay, so we had that. Siblings or other peers. That was basically I learned that computer games, you can yell at computer games because dad does it. Similarly, that shouldn't be part of your link. They attempted to apply the nested ecological theory to explain CPV, concluding that it was it can occur as a result of a combination of psychological, sociological, and cultural factors. That seems just like it's a different. It's just a different framing. I'm wondering if I write down these theories in my little book for us to look at later on. Oh, I see Rage Kitty. Yeah, see the rage. Why is my little book always making its way back to the room? Just hold on, guys. I'll BRB. I need to get the little book. Because writing it down, not typing it, does a thing in my brain. Okay, let us. Today is the 20th. No, 19th. I just got another day back. I yell at Forza Horizon 5, but it doesn't yell back. That's exactly it. It doesn't yell back. That's good. Sleeveless Rage Kitty. Let's go. What's up, Nick? June. I need to work on the guns, but I'm doing my poor lorties, guys. So eventually I'll have some muscle tone. I swear. Just 20 minutes at a time, though. It doesn't really do much. Okay, 19. It's not better than nothing, Chinsia. Shut up. 19th of June. We are going to look into general strain theory. Strain theory, because you know what? You know what's great with these theories? You can make diagrams. Okay, whoa, Dev. Oh, Dev's walls liver. Have you seen the recent academic literature which found a large correlation between violence in video games, them being awesome? Thank you very much. That is very true. A lot of video games need to be violent to be awesome. Like, honestly, that feeling of it's like actually on Zax's stream today, they there was just a moment when they were talking about or they were watching a Halo movie video thing, and there was sniper fire, and then like I like wait for the sniper fire, and when the sniper fire happened, everyone went ooh, like they really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's what I mean by violence in video games. They need to be it. So guys, we are 1 out of 5 towards the goal of me watching a stupid video, because we're being nerds right now. We're reading research. That's what we're reacting to. Okay. I'll yell at video games when the RNG is complete BS. That helps. Yeah, it increases your the drops. Every little bit counts. I believe in you, Kitty. Thanks, Nick. You're listen, you just need to keep wearing the vest so that I can be inspired by your guns. Okay, just keep doing that. So I understand the t-shirt today. It makes sense. Much honor. Celebrate your sports ball people. It's not a ball, it's a puck, I know. Are you taking recommendations on what to react to? I am, but I'll take reactions on I'll take reactions. I can take any recommendation for research papers. Okay, Adam. But when it comes to silly videos, as in literally slop, we have to get to the 5 super chats for that, because it's difficult, and then then we can discuss what the recommendation is. I will watch something stupid. The other day I tried to be a proper React content person, and I couldn't really find too much material other than cat videos. It was fun. I'm listening while I'm playing violent video games. What's your violent video game you're playing? Okay, so what general strain theory? Then there is the one that I remember learning from Bandura, social learning theory. Theory. Okay, thanks. So yeah, if you have any research topics to go on, because right now the topic that we are currently looking at is violence in video games, violins in video games, as Devs Walls has said. And then the last one, nested ecological. Nested ecological theory. Okay. As explanations, let's look at those. Those are good. Okay. Subsequently, Hong et al. Don't get me there. Generated the social ecology theory, according to which CPV is produced by factors pertaining to the youth's microsystem, child maltreatment, parenting styles, mesosystem, influence of conflicting peers, exosystems, influence of media. Okay, that makes sense. It's different kinds of realms. Okay, macrosystem, socialization. Okay, and chronosystem, change in family structure. Okay. The present research focuses on the analysis of some risk factors that could lead to an increase in CPV rates, such as the use of violent video games, the pathological gaming. See, pathological gaming, I suppose, is a word they're using for gaming addiction. And addiction does coincide. It will bring up aggression when you take away games from the person who is addicted to them. That will probably increase aggression. Like, you've seen them when you take away the Fortnites and the this and the that from children. Mamma mia. Okay, the theoretical underpinning for this research will be based on social learning theory. Okay, so this study we're reading, as it can explain how young people can learn violent behavior through social media, such as violent video games. Okay, so they've gone back to Bandura. Social learning theory can explain how the justification of violence is a cognitive... My scroll, man. Oh. Social learning theory can also explain how the justification of violence is a cognitive variable, may mediate the relationship between exposure to violent video games. Okay. Justification. So there's this idea of justification of violence. As long as we have a reason to do our violence, it works, right? We're okay. City of Heroes. I used to play that. Well, not a lot, but I was made to play it with a friend. And I played it on my really, really janky gaming laptop that couldn't even run it. And it's already an old game. Okay. Anyway, as a cognitive variable may mediate the relationship between exposure to violent video games or pathological gaming. So it may mediate it. So as long as we know that we have good reasons. So like we said earlier on in Zax's stream, if they're fighting for open borders, it's okay. Kitty flexing the diaphragm and vocals for a moment there. Was I just yelling? Sorry. According to social learning theory, children may imitate the behaviors and they observe from others, but they may also make cognitive inferences that lead to generalizing the behaviors they observe. Several authors have related the developments of CPV to social learning theory. Okay, we know this. These authors indicate that children can learn violent behavior through modeling. Yeah, like hitting the table is my thing, because my dad did it, not only from their parents, but also from peers and social influences. I guess I'm Italian. Everybody hits tables. Everybody hits tables. Tables are a fair game in an Italian household. Additionally, other authors suggest that this learning can become internalized as part of the identity in adolescence. Part of my identity in adolescence was being an angry gal, I suppose. Explain how justification of violence is a cognitive variable. Maybe we've got that. These, no, can learn violence. Per social cognitive theory, there are three interacting components that determine how behavioral learning can occur: contextual variables, personal cognitive variables, and behavioral outcomes. In the present research, the contextual variables studied will be exposure to violent video games. What do they mean by exposure? What do you mean? I'm going to crash. Good night, panel and kitty. Good night, Zaxi. Sleep well. And pathological gaming. The cognitive variable will be the justification of violence. And the behavioral outcome will be, okay, cool. So they put it in a framework. I would have enjoyed a diagram here, because I'm just silly that way. Exposure to violence in video games and television. Actually, I just do want to do something here. Social, just a learning theory. Better a table than someone's face. Exactly, Jacob. That's what I'm at. But people seem to think that you're more likely because you've hit the table. It's like, no. It is a violent thing. But yeah, you hit stuff. It's stupid. It's not good, and it's completely gone away as I've grown completely. You know that it hasn't completely, because you've seen me in in streams get irritated and slam the table. But like, yeah, breaking things, that didn't occur past 11, as in the age of 11 for me. Okay, because then you break the thing and you feel like such a freaking moron. The behavioral outcome of that is breaking something, and then you go, oh, I'm going to make a cognitive decision not to do that again because I feel like an absolute toss. Okay, what was I going to say? A learning theory. Adults, that's another thing I want to look at. How adults learn. Okay, if you rub a violent video game on their face, that counts as exposure. I didn't know where you were going with that, dude. So it was a fun time. It was a good time reading that message. Thank you very much. I'm just imagining which one's the most violent here. I've got Bioshock, this guy, Red Dead. I'll just rub Red Dead Redemption on my friend's child's face, and there you go. They've been exposed. I used to put holes in walls, punch through a metal mesh locker when I was in high school. Yeah, I could try that, and I could not do it. Damn. But yeah, punch that. That's fine. I broke something once. I felt justified at the time, but then you have it in your hand and you're like, oh fuck, I just fucked myself. I just fucked all. There's no satisfaction beyond that one moment for me. Like, it's like you go, oh yes, release, and then it's like, oh shit, now it's broken. Ugh. Okay. In video games, television, previous research has shown an association between CPV and exposure to violence. Okay. That's why I own a punching bag. There you go. Channel, like you said, channel it into something better. And we did kickboxing. We did, I think maybe that helped you as well. Are you an atheist or a theist? I'm a theist. Of course, I'm exposed to violence. I'm reading the Bible. God, where I'm at in the Bible, I'm at the part where God just burns everybody. Which could be, I suppose, it could be Revelations as well. Holes in walls. Don't do that. Just don't make holes in walls in Dev's house. Okay, just don't do that. Okay. Previous research has shown an association between CPV and exposure to violence. Yes, we understand that. For example, they just conducted a study to investigate the relationship between exposure to violence and CPV in juvenile offenders. Okay, that's. I suppose you're going to have that. If your sample is juvenile offenders, let's see what the other. The Bible is pretty hard. It is pretty hardcore. So like, if you're going to expose your children to the Bible, you're exposing them to violence as well. But you have to help them understand what's going on. Anyway, between exposure to violence and CPV in juvenile offenders. These authors found a relationship between the two variables, concluding that exposure to violence could occur in various settings, such as home or in school. Okay. Similarly, from the review of other studies, they concluded that a multitude of violent messages in the media leads to normalization of violence. I think violence is pretty normal. Ooh, that was spit. Violence is pretty normal. I'm frothing, guys. I'm frothing at the mouth. Violence is, yeah, it is pretty normal, but I guess casual violence is not. Like walking around, if you go outside and you see somebody punch somebody, you're like, whoa. But I think it's pretty well known that humans are pretty violent, and it's used to resolve conflicts, which would make up a social factor for the perpetration of CPV. Yeah, how does it resolve anything? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Except God would say otherwise. It was a good punishment. It's part of justice. On another hand, that's weird. Stated the exposure to violence in media and video games can lead to the development of beliefs, attitudes, and aggressive behaviors. Okay, exposure, as well as to a greater desensitization of violence in general. Okay, I find desensitization to violence may occur, but I hope that you would maintain that when violence happens in front of you, there is this moment of, no, this is real violence. So I'm desensitized mostly, but when it happens in front of me, I'm like, oh, this shit, that's real. Like there is this moment that it goes, oh, from it's just a depiction to, oh no, this is real. There's this weird thing. The atheist interpretation of God, the baby bashing, drowning, genocidal, megalomaniac, slavey, and rape condoning envious God, that they're apparently more moral and that can be compared to leprechauns. Yes. What is meant by aggressive behavior? Yelling! No, violence. Aggressive behaviors as well as to a greater desensitization to violence. Aggressive behaviors is taking up people's space, I suppose, going into other people's space, disrespecting other people's space. With this consequence justification. So getting this mechanism of I'm allowed to be violent. If I've got a good enough research, if I've got a good enough reason, I'll be able to do violence. And yeah, I mean that is how we operate. Yes. Today, scholars are engaged in central discussion concerning the effects of violent video games and whether their use is linked to aggressive behavior. We're not going to ban them. We're not going to ban them. That's my thing. It's like, cool, you can relate it and whatever, but there are so many people that play these games that do not land up killing people or punching people or whatever. There are so many that actually are able to notice the difference between fantasy and reality and know that it's okay because it's a video game, whereas it's not okay because it's a whole ass human that you're hitting. There is a big difference. There is even a difference. You're playing, say, Fortnite, and you kill someone there. Again, yes, there's a person behind it, but that person is not really going to die. The only thing you're going to do is inconvenience that person, then they have to respawn. That is reality. You actually have this. That's one of the arguments people have, is that video games are this safe space where you can actually go and do that kind of thing without the real harm. But then the other theory is then, okay, you can do that without the real harm. That therefore then desensitizes and makes people look for further harm, for real harm. Those people that look for real harm, those people are already a problem because they're already not seeing the limits. They don't have the moral hard line between actual violence and fantasy violence. Teabagging, yes, teabagging is aggressive behavior. A lot of times I'll start high with my kids, and then slowly bring it back down to drive the point home. Oh, like high as in like high over. What do you mean by high? As in high above the point? Hey, Jacob. Oh, okay. When keeping it real goes wrong. That is a great movie tagline. Okay. Is it from a movie? Okay, the general aggression model, by Anderson and Bushman, was one of the first theories arguing that repeated exposure to violent video games may lead to changes in aggression-related beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. Their research concluded that violent video games increase physiological arousal, yes, they do, aggressive thoughts and feelings, and aggressive behaviors. Aggressive thoughts and feelings. We would have to go and look at this study to see what they're talking about. Aggressive thoughts and feelings and aggressive behaviors while decreasing pro-social behaviors. You could play a co-op. Okay, if you play a co-op violent video game, you are going to have pro-social. You be pro-social with your team. Co-op, best. Get your kids to play co-op violent video games. It's good. That's basically just any of the shooters. You do that. However, other authors hold a different perspective, arguing that violent video games do not actually increase aggression in young people. Good. In support of this, Johannes et al. Reported that young people who play video games for longer periods of time in the past few weeks tend to have a higher well-being. Yeah, this just makes me want to go and game. This finding is consistent with other authors who have identified a correlation between video game use and positive effects of mental health. Okay, let us go here and remind everybody to subscribe to the gaming channel. I think it's called... Is it gaming? I don't know my command, but it's basically ThatDarnKitteh games. I don't know if that's the command. I've forgotten the command. Either way, the handle is ThatDarnKitteh games. Go in and subscribe to that. We've got about 43 or 44 subscribers there at the moment. Because I don't want to. I have streamed on this channel before, but when I stream video games, I'll stream it onto that site. Okay, this finding is consistent with other authors who have identified correlation between two. So thank you for mentioning that video games can increase the happiness of people. That used to not really get involved in the discussion. People wouldn't bring that up. The significance of this discussion led the American Psychological Association to establish a working group of violent media with the goal of investigating the association between violent video games and aggression. 2015, gosh, they just never let this go. He came back to fall asleep. Listen, Nicholas, the other day when you had already fallen asleep, and your phone may be turned off or whatever, but I properly yelled and people got very upset. So I'm glad I didn't wake you up. So I'm glad to put you to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep. I'll start singing and that'll keep you awake. Association between violent video games and aggression. Their study concluded that violent video games indeed increase aggression while reducing pro-social behavior. Lies! Make them play co-op. American Psychological. We have to go into this. 2015, Violent Dreams. However, more recently, yes, Ferguson et al. It's Rebecca Ferguson, re-examined this research and found that the evidence of the effects of violent video games on aggression was weak. Yes, go! With the exception of desensitization, yes, I can agree that happens. The authors pointed out that recent meta-analyses show small effects on the relationship between violent video games use and the aggression of reduced pro-social behavior. And the interpretation of these results as significant is questionable. A lot of the time, that's usually what happens with humanities studies. Is there is none. This is significant. We decided. It's literally that this is significant. We decided. That's what they do. And interpretation of these results as significant is questionable. In fact, they state that the results of many of these studies linking these variables may be explained by publication bias or questionable researcher practices. We knew this. In the same vein, that they conducted meta-analysis involving 28 independent samples. The authors reported smaller effect sizes over longitudinal periods regarding the relationship between aggressive play content and aggression. Yeah, I would also say that kids going through adolescence, probably it makes sense that they would grow out of being that aggressive, because just in general, you're supposed to calm down as you get older. Additionally, effect sizes were smaller in better designed studies. So they're like, hey, how was, okay, I hope you took this into account when you made your study. Journal of Child and Family Studies. Therefore, these authors reveal the longitudinal studies do not seem to find significant long-term relationships between aggressive game content and aggression in young people. At the theoretical level, approaches to the effects of video games are very different. Okay, so what do we expose? Do we not expose? Usually just taking it all away, just no. For example, there is a research that relies on displacement hypothesis to explain media effects and other studies that rely on theories of human motivation. These different approaches and contradictory findings make it difficult to build evidence. Okay, no, I wanted more of an explanation here. At the theoretical level, approach to effects of video games are very different. For example, there's research that relies on the displacement hypothesis to explain media effects. Displacement. Well, go to the displacement hypothesis. Second, previous research also raises methodological limitations. Yes, that's the whole point. In research on the negative effects of video games, the operationalization of video games is one of them. It is based on experiments that are designed to mimic gameplay, but are not accurate in how gameplay occurs naturally. Thank you. So it's non-gamers studying gaming. It doesn't work that way. Moreover, studies on this topic are based on the use of self-reports, which are not objective measures of actual behavior. Yeah, you should have like a microphone, like a decibel meter or whatever. No, then yelling for joy would also be recorded as a violent thing. Basically, you have some sort of AR pickup when you're being aggro. Also, studies tend to be cross-sectional and not addressing possible causal relationships. Finally, research usually uses a limited set of games, compromising generalizability to video games in general. Yeah. An example of the need for caution in such research is the study who reanalyzed meta-analyses. I've just ruined the scroll again. Who reanalyzed meta-analytical data on this issue, bringing together results of GAM research. In their study, they noted the existence of publication bias. When adjusting for bias, they observed effect sizes were smaller. Okay, so why this should be making you tell me how you've fixed this in your study. This is kind of nerd, or is it? It is. To date, despite growing interest in the relationship between video games and video game consumption and violence, only the study of blah blah has analyzed the relationship between video games consumption and CPV, finding that to the extent of the consumption. So I don't know. Shall we say that then kids are not supposed to play video games? What counts as a violent video game? Does it have to include gore? Problematic gaming has typically been defined in the literature based on measures of pathological gambling. Yeah, it's basically around that. I do worry about that, because that is honestly, yeah, you can see it happening with the kids in like Roblox and things like that. They also, I don't know what it's doing to their attention, the way that the games are made, because like with Roblox, I've seen my nephew, he will play it and be in one game for like 5 minutes, and then he'll jump to the next one because there's all different kinds of games. And it's like, I don't know, I used to play one game for hours and hours and hours and hours, and that's it. However, a variety of definitions and criteria have been used, leading to inconsistent estimates of prevalence of problematic gaming. Yeah, pathological gaming can be defined as excessive and compulsive use of video games, of computer or video games. I honestly see that in most children. Any child with an iPad has I haven't seen very many children that aren't compulsively attached to their iPad. And I guess my cousins and I were attached to our Game Boys in that way, I suppose. So it's just, maybe it is a child thing. I don't let my kids switch games too many times. Yeah, don't let them, like, they need to persevere and learn from the game. I didn't think games like Halo were violent as much as they were competitive. I now do see Halo as a violent game. Still fun though. Old head. GTA, that was violent. Driver, that was violent. They were worse. Yeah. So like the I suppose those kinds of games, which is also what I want to see with these studies. They've just given these backgrounds. That's another limitation of the games. What is a violent video game? I think GTA is something that kids don't need to be playing. But when I was thinking of a kid playing a video game, it would be I played Crash Bash, okay, which was what's the name? Was a Crash Bandicoot, and you play in teams and whatever, and you basically hit each other. It's like Smash Bros, I suppose, but that's the only thing. I never played Smash Bros. But that can be interpreted as violent because you hit people. You literally whack them, and there's no blood and whatever, but you're fighting, I suppose. But I think there needs to be a distinction between competitive games and violent games. Thank you for following Clips52. Okay, I remember. Okay, cool. Then problematic gaming has typically, so pathological gaming can be defined as excessive and compulsive use of computer video games. I suppose I was like this as well. Like, I would get home and that's the only thing I wanted to do. But I'm like that. I have that kind of a addictive personality. That causes social and emotional problems to the extent that game users cannot control their use of the game. No, look, it wasn't easy. My parents would say that's enough and take me off the game. But I did spend hours. And was I socially? No, I was thrust into social situations, even though I didn't want to be in them. Previous research has investigated the consequences of pathological gaming, finding a relationship with anxiety disorders, low self-esteem, decreased school performance, that was, increased hostility or decreased empathy and social skills. No, okay, depends on what games, man. Get better games, because there are games that can teach you stuff, man. That you have a story involved and there's characters and all of that. But I guess you're not going to have increased empathy when you play Crash Team Racing. I suppose it's not going to really give you much of a feeling. In fact, they found that adolescents with problematic gaming were more likely to be engaging in risk behaviors such as smoking, drug use, and gaming is a gateway drug, boys and girls, such as smoking, drug use, and violence, as well as more likely to report depression. Maybe we play video games because we're depressed, not the video games make us depressed. Maybe we want to escape and we play video games because of that. I hate that I'm an hour late. Yes, there's a whole lot of background here, Hunty, that you have completely missed. Actually, yeah, when is our timer ended before reaching goal? Okay, so yeah, we didn't do it. Okay, let's see. We almost to the objectives. Not this research again. What about violent video games? Yes. Can defined as excessive. Okay, cool. We've got previous research, investigated consequences. So we've got that depression. On the contrary, some research has noted that some previous research has made it's unclear whether there is a relationship between self difficulties and pathological gaming. In fact, some authors suggest that the need to exercise caution when approaching any diagnostic assessment related to pathological gaming, as the quality of previous research in this area is considered to be low. I think you could just have, as long as you look at in the DSM, there is like just like a unspecified, well, there was when I was studying it, where there was just addiction itself. It was just an addiction disorder. You're addicted to something. Because you just find it, the same mechanisms are going in place. That's what they think. The brain is working in the same way. There's the reward cycle and things like that. That's what's going on when you're addicted. So you can put that framework into gaming or into using a phone or any of that sort of thing to see whether it's an addiction. And a lot of the time is if it's getting in the way, a lot of the time, absolutely all the time, if it's going to be a disorder, it's got to get in the way of you living your life. It can't just be a big part of your life that you manage. It's got to get in the way. Research in this area is considered to be low, and there is still no consensus on the symptomatology exactly. And assessment of pathological gaming. Yeah, it's like, oh, how many hours can I do it? Gaming can go on for that long, and then you're like, oh, kid that's playing cricket for 5 hours a week, more than 5 hours a week, he's fine. he's not addicted to cricket. But a kid that wants to play that much video game, he's addicted. I remember when people blame GTA for everything. Yeah. It's still going on. It seems like people are still trying to make this correlation, and it's just like it's just there's so much violence out there. So what this study is doing, Hunty, just seeing as you're so late, what this study is doing is it said that it found a correlation, correlation. It found a correlation between violent video games and violence towards parents. But if you have violent video games and TV that is violent, there's no correlation. So I don't get that. So it seems like, unless I've read it wrong. Okay. So, hey, Lucy. Hey, I was going to say hey, Lucifer. Hello, Lucy. Lucy Lemonbug. State the current evidence on the negative effects of violent video gaming. Yep. However, in spite of the potential role of pathological gaming on adolescent psychological adjustment, to date, no study has analyzed this potential relationship with the commission of child-parent violence. So they're like, yay, look at us. We're breaking the mold here with our research. Kitty gave me the glare. Yes, I did. Thus, due to the controversial results of previous literature on the relationship of pathological gambling and pathological video gaming with violence, the association between the two variables needs to go further investigated. Yes, that's basically all you do with academia. Like, hey, I got to research more, give me money. Okay, so this whole idea of justification of violence seems like there's some sort of mechanism that we're supposed to be using that children are learning. So what do they call this? They're giving us all the terms that they use later on in this research. Continuing with the social learning theory, one of the components that influence behavioral learning are personal cognitive variables. Okay, so this is the personal cognitive variable, is the justification of violence. They didn't go into the theory very much, but I suppose this is written for people that are pretty familiar with the theory. Continuing with social learning theory, in the area of CPV, a cognitive risk factor that contributes to its development is the justification of violence. So if I got a good reason, I'm going to do it. This is the belief in the acceptance of violence behavior. Yeah, indicated that young people who are exposed to violence in different contexts may become desensitized to violence. Therefore normalize violent behavior. Because it literally is normal for them, I suppose. In this line, they state the CPV could be predicted by the social information processing components of aggressive response and anger. That's a nerdy line. What's the hypothesis of this study? It's that there is a correlation. They are related. Violent video games are related to the perpetration of child to parent violence. That's it. They're related, and that'll give them a quote. I like shirtless Henry Cavill's booba. Does that make me addicted? How long are you looking at them? Are you looking at it now? Is it getting in the way? It's not getting in the way of your ability to chat, so I wouldn't say it's affecting your life badly. For example, the justification of violence. More recent studies found that exposure to domestic violence is positively associated with the justification of violence. Because it's like, yeah, violence is normal. It's not a huge deal. I don't really have. There's no mountain I have to climb to get to violence happening. And in this turn with CPV. This implies that adolescents who commit CPV, when I say CPV, it's child-parent violence, so it's the child being violent to the parent, could normalize the use of violence so they can be more easily access aggressive responses, and they consider aggression to be an appropriate conflict resolution strategy. It's not that they even think this consciously, it's just where you go. You learn this automatically. You don't go, I'm going to have a fight to solve this problem. It just immediately, that's what happens. Your aggression kicks in, and that's how I'm solving problems. If you were treating that person in therapy, you would have to try and stop them, slow them down to show that they're being triggered into the aggression. But yeah. Did they forget that bullying has been a factor? Oh, yes! Oh, no! They didn't talk about it. Okay. So, easily aggressive responses, they consider aggression to be appropriate conflict resolution. On the other hand, social cognitive theories such as general aggression model, okay, we've got that one, emphasize the significance of cognitive components, including normative beliefs about aggression or aggressive scripts. which can contribute to an increase in aggressive behavior. Okay. In this context, Gilbert examined the influence of the 3 cognitive structures related to aggression: behavioral scripts. Nicely done. Early maladaptive schemas. I like that schema theory. And normative beliefs. And found a positive association for violence accepting beliefs with increased aggressive behavior. I should hope so. That makes sense. If people spank kids, it teaches kids that violence changes people's behavior. But it does. Violence does change people's behavior. But I suppose you have to see, maybe another thing is to make the child realize that violence isn't the only thing that changes people's behavior. So, do they at any point suggest that playing violent video games are simply a symptom of other factors, not the cause of CPV? They kind of they lend some air to that in this section over here when they were talking about other research towards violence. They do say there's other factors that included. So they do talk about it, and they do also point to the weaknesses of previous studies about video games and violence. Okay, so now let's talk about what they actually did in this study. Okay, so that's what we're doing as nerds looking at research. Okay, objectives. To date, numerous studies have tried to analyze the relationship between the use of violent video games and the development of violent behaviors, their results not being conclusive though. Yeah, I don't think the results of this study are conclusive, but it's just another study to add to the meta-studies that we're going to do later on. Conversely, some research has tried to study the relationship between pathological gaming and aggressive behavior. I think any pathological behavior is in an obsession, an addiction will lead to aggression. I think it's common. Those things happen together. When you're addicted and you get something taken away from you, there is aggression involved in it. Conversely, some research has tried to study the relationship between pathological gaming and aggressive behavior. However, despite the violent video games have consistently been identified as the most popular among consumers, okay, violence in video games, why would that be? If we're just thinking for ourselves, making up reasons, violent video games have consistently been identified as the most popular amongst consumers. Why is that? I would say, I posit, isn't it that they're the most fun because they're giving us such a release. We can't do these things in real life. So that's where we go to do it. That's why they're popular. It's fun. We get to enjoy all of that without the real damage. That's the point, is that you don't have the real damage. To date, no study has analyzed the influence of violence, video games, and pathological gaming on C. Okay, so that they're just going to keep reminding us that their study is looking at child-parent violence. So it's not just violence; it's child-parent violence. On another hand, although some studies have found a relationship between the justification of violence and CPV perpetration, to date, no research has analyzed the role of video games in this context. So it's saying why it's that's what the study is going to do, what any study is going to do. Therefore, the main objective of this study was to analyze in a sample of secondary education students the relationship of exposure to violent video games, pathological video gaming, and justification of violence with the perpetration of child-to-parent violence, controlling for the sex, educational level, and violent TV exposure of the participants. So that would be the violent video game choices are far outnumbered snowboarding or other games to begin with. It was pushed on people. Yeah, that's true. There's more that you can do with a violent video game, I suppose. But I think there was both being pushed and then the response to it. If they didn't respond to the violent games, if they weren't successful, then we would have more snowboarding games, if that was it. But there is a different kind of gamer that does just the racing games. Like, I don't know, it seems more normy that you would have that's what it was like when I was in school, is that the people that played Forza and all the racing games that's a subset of gamers that play just those games. It's like the same, the people that play the NFL games. They're all in a certain group that everybody has. There's subsets of gamers. They also tend to have risk reward scrolling, leading to bugger dopamine hits. Yeah. That I'm wondering how, if we could look at how games have changed, in terms of the dopamine hit, if it's actually more often now, if that has happened. That's a cool study. But what they're doing is the same question, really, but they're just like, oh, it's CPV. Guys, I need to pee. So we're going to have a BRB screen for a sec. Go and think about what you want to study next. What our next study is going to be. BRB. And here is a song. Enjoy it. It's probably going to be loud. I'm kidding.
Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly. Kitty needs to go pee or maybe poopy. She might get some coffee or maybe even some tea, but she'll be right back with you shortly.
Shut up, bitch! Did I wake you up? Did I? Did that wake you up? Hi. Hey, crispy lettuce. Again, POA. Yeah, I did it. Not a diagram stream. Exactly, WZ. We are reading and reacting. So I tried to, but the goal is the goal still visible? It should be still visible. If we get 5 super chats, I will do a stupid video. I will watch a stupid video of your guys' choosing. It just came from BMO stream. It was good shit. BMO stream's always good shit, guys. Hey, Master. Hi, I just came from BMO stream. Ooh, I get. What did BMO tell you to all come in here and say, I came from BMO stream? Hi guys. I hope you had a good time. What did he? Please, no yelling. Nicholas, did I get you? Yes. Yes. Sorry. Kids are always looking more beautiful every time I see her with a new setup. Hey peepers. What did you guys get at BMO's stream? What did he draw for you guys today? Was there anything particularly spicy, like peepers in a certain position? Smut. Yeah. Classy smut, guys. Get the classy smut. No, he didn't even raid you. Oh, how could he not raid me? He doesn't care. If we're all doing it, I came from BMO's stream. I'm sure you did, peepers. That's where you come from. He was playing Sekiro. He drew Samus Aran. I don't know who that is, but that's cool. Didn't even know BMO was streaming. J-Mac! How dare you? Are you not subscribed? You put all your notifications on. People just ask character portraits. So BMO, go to at BMO's art. Like that. You are subscribed. Okay. Yeah. He does EDAD, and it's pretty funny because it was Father's Day and he does EDAD. Get it? EDAD, every death a doodle on BMO's channel. Doesn't know Metroid, Kitty. Sorry, I don't know. I play, guys. If we're talking about my video games and my video game knowledge, it's Stray and Monster Hunter. That's it. And Prince of Persia, but that's old. He said you were not autistic. I don't believe him. I am not. I really am not. I just have some traits. It's subdiagnosable, if you know what I'm saying. Same thing with ADHD. Although I just don't want to pay for the ADHD testing. Like, what are you going to tell me that I've got that? Cool. I don't want to medicate. So what are we going to do? Just kidding, Kitty. Autism is a superpower these days. When is the EWU Explore With Us diagramming? You know what, WZ? Let's talk about this right now. We are gonna know. Let's actually talk about this now. Sorry, break in the. So let's explore with us. Let's go to explore with us. WZ has been very, very patient, I must say. So explore with us. Let's see what we have. As Chrome.
Where we're at.
Videos. If you take via, you'll turn into Destiny. Ooh. I thought about commissioning someone, but they all pay via PayPal. I only have Cash App. Speak to BMO. He does commissions. And you guys can figure out how to just get BMO to monetization, and then you can. He's going to be there soon. He's more secure than Cash App, says BMO. And there he is, BMO. You're close to monetization, aren't you? It'll be like $100 super chat. You get a commission. I saw Jordan Peterson on Kill Tony. Respect. Did he seriously do that? That's a lie. AI's gone mad. Not even close. Well, sooner or later, it's going to happen. The point is, it's not if, it's when. I don't have a bank account for PayPal. I didn't either. Okay. 911 call for help leads to cops' House of Horrors. That was 3 days ago. WZ, come. I'm here. It's been 84 years. Okay, so listen, WZ. What would we do? Teen hides horrific secret beneath mom's house. I like the teen crimes. Those are quite disturbing. Cops discover entire murder caught on camera. No, it's real and he was funny. Teen mass shooter realizes he's been captured. Okay, that's pretty cool. 5 months ago. Let's see the time. Cops make worst discovery of their lives. I think a half an hour one would be pretty good for us. What do you think, WZ? Wife realizes her child is a No, child predator, I don't think I can do as my first crime diagram, guys. I can't. Boy escaped from YouTuber's house of horrors. Cops make horrific discovery in women's soup pot. You have to do a recent one that will get you views, but not something that will be too graphic. Something short for some lore. Okay. Well, then it seems like this one, which was 2 weeks ago. Cops discover entire murder caught on camera. That's what we could do. Because an hour, this is a whole half an hour. Whereas this is an hour. So I think we could do that one. Kitty diagrams, explore with us. Cops discover entire murder caught on. Let's get into it. Do it. Should I do it now? No, we're doing research. Find the one American Psycho Lauper. I will do. WZ wants us to get views, so we're gonna say explore with us. True crime diagram. True crime diagram. With explore with us. Find one in the American Psycho. So that would be a later one, I suppose. We don't even know what a true crime diagram looks like. You know what, guys? After I finish this, because we're only 1.5 hours in, boys. So what I'm going to do is finish the violent video game one, and let's talk. Kitty is going to do the Peterson on Kill Tony diagram. There's no diagram for that before the EW, to be honest. No, but you know what? I understand. You'll believe it when you see it. I'm not a reliable person. I understand. So what I'm going to do is finish the what we were talking about previously, and then I want to go into let's look at some criminology research. Sorry, guys, the thumbnail has made us. We have to stick to our guns. And look, there is a super chat goal if you guys want me to react to something stupid. We do have that. So otherwise, I'm going my own way. Okay, let's go back here. Back to the nerd. Is there a little sound clip I can give you to help you? That was actually for Barmy, but Barmy hasn't come past in a while. Kitty is going to do Peterson on Kill Tony. Anyway, okay, cool, let's go. Oh, react to something stupid. Oh, you see, you should have broken them up, J-Mac. $50, but no, J-Mac, what do you want me to, J-Mac, that's a big super chat. What do you want me to what do you want me to react to? Thanks, Kitty. There we go, WZ. Okay, cool, guys. Everybody, thank you, WZ. Thank you, J-Mac. It's supposed to be 5 super chats, but I think $50 is 5 super chats worth. I should have made it a certain number. But what are we? That reminds me of Little Monsters, great movie. Okay, well, what are we gonna watch then? Because you guys have paid me for this. But I think J-Mac gets to suggest something that's stupid if he wants. J-Mac, you should be able to share links in my chat. Something stupid. Thanks, Bimo. What's this? Okay. How did it not heart that? There you go. The goal, sorry, the goal is actually not showing. But there it's done. The goal isn't updated because the timer went out, but I've decided that's what we're going to do anyway. I have a video for you. I don't know, have BMO pick. Okay. An MSK stream, busy fighting for justice. Sorry, J-Mac, yes, go and continue being a hero. BMO has a video for me. BMO provides. Okay, what is BMO going to do? I'm scared, but hey, a super chat's a super chat. Good night, y'all. Stay ragey, my friends. Yes, stay ragey, but don't kill anyone. Okay? Just smack tables. It's all good. They'll be fine. Let me get BMO sent me something. Do up. Already getting it. Okay. Come on. What? Here you go. I saw something that says moose. Oh my god, this is slop. Oh, sweet lord. Okay. This is gonna be great. I don't know. I don't know, guys. You asked for this. Yeah, I suppose. Okay, so exactly something stupid. Here we go. Something stupid. Challenger approaching. This is Are you for real? Well, if it sucks, it's Bemo's fault. Already, what the fuck? Is this mature audiences only? Yeah, I would say. Yeah, definitely. Just because of my mouth, basically. That's why. This is for mature audiences. This is one of my favorite videos. Bima, you are a Gen Z person. The top of your booty jiggling out those jeans. If this gets muted after if I get the notice cannot be monetized because of this shit. Thanks. That's pretty funny. Look, guys, I have said that I'm easily entertained, but really, when I mean easily entertained, I mean like car horns honking is funny. This, heh, I exhaled. Okay, his face is pretty funny.
But how low can you go? Lower than your mama's ever seen it in a lifetime.
Lower than your mama's ever seen in a lifetime. That's another thing. By the way, I can't talk over the videos because of the way GG is working. So I have to pause. It's so good. Sure. I mean, cool. Yes, if anyone's watching in the future, there was a song that was over this. It sounds like ludicrous. And it has now been muted because girls got to monetize whatever this slop stream is. Wow, we got a mirror.
Now you doing it on the dance floor. Man, 'cause I can't get with shit, just show me how to dance.
There's Kings. No Dumb Kings is going to be upset. John, don't get low. Show us girls a thing. What do React streamers do with this stuff? Like, my reaction is, why? And this thing has millions of views. What the fuck is wrong with the world?
You gotta do before you make it big. There's just one thing that I gotta do.
I like him as a star. Not even a good rap. You like it? The only thing I like about this, guys, is the face. This, you know, that's pretty funny. Wait, am I putting it? Yeah, it's. What do people write on these things? We never did find out that one thing he's got to know. This is something you see as a kid, then question whether it ever actually happened or not. Imagine trying to decipher what this means without sound. That's probably what's going to happen with with my stream. It has the Smash Bros theme. It's fantastic to see whatever paying homepage Mospus. The train of thought has left the station. Agreed. More of these reaction streams. Basically, guys, considering the way politics is going, I'm good for just reacting. Honestly, I'm good to just react. Kitty, do you watch Frank? Oh, I love Frank. Do you also watch Creepy Dave? His best favorite animal is Creepy Dave. Do you like him? Creepy Dave. His best favorite animal. We got Furts.
Today is best favorite animal called farts. Farts look like spaghetti beaver.
Spaghetti beaver.
But it's not spaghetti beaver. Those are really long. It's more like cat version of a hot dog. Like a stretch limousine mouse. Anyway.
The one that I got on Instagram the other day was better. This is not stupid, by the way. It doesn't count as the stupid video.
There's two kinds of farts. One is people keep as pet. It's very useful. If you have too much straws, they eat it for you. Or they can check your ass for safeties on top of straw.
Does anybody have a third?
Other kind of fart is outdoor kind. Isn't anger. Maybe because they try too hard or they get lost in holes. So always check your holes. Maybe you'll find a fart. It's best animal. Okay, bye.
Now I just want to watch the OG Filthy Frank.
Today is best favorite #1 animal called pugs. Pugs look kind of like a dog, but maybe half. Like you probably need like 2 pugs to make one real dog. It's so cool. His body like a perfect shape.
I have so many dumb videos next time. Okay, WZ, do it. Yeah. OMG Filthy Frank, the original brain rot. No, this way better than politics and religion streams. Absolutely. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I'm a lot happier. I'm happy to do it. Let's go. But yeah, let's go and see Zifrank. What do we have from Zifrank? I probably will get copyright struck. Zifrank's a big B. What is some of your favorite Zifrank videos? Sad Cat Diary. Let's see here. Videos. Flies, camels. We should do a cat one, obviously. Some sort of cat. Four-headedness. First draft segment for it. See, we said research, guys. So if I do a Zifrank, it's still research. The weird defenses of the possum. Mindless peckers. True facts, pigeons are tricking you. Let's go.
This episode is sponsored by CuriosityStream.
I'll just love him. The best brain rot. What is no, Filthy Frank. I don't even know what you're talking about, and I'm okay.
You might think that pigeons are just mindless peckers. Well, then what's this one doing pecking at a computer screen? Why is this one in the box with a banana? And will this pigeon live to see another day? Well,
pigeons are cool. Okay, I gotta go to bed. Have a good night. Good night. You got echo? Okay, that is, thank you. That is a problem because of GG, as usual. Is it supposed to echo? No, it's not. This is supposed to go off. There you go. It should be off now.
You're about to find out. If you've ever seen a pigeon walk, you might have wondered what's going on with all the head bobbing. Are they
See ya,
broken?
BMO.
And they do a lot of it, up to 8 times a second. So fast, in fact, that it wasn't...
I hate that pigeons and doves are put in the same thing, because there's lots of doves here in Dubai.
Until the 1960s that they realized that this forward and backwards motion was an illusion. It's not a bob, it's a thrust and stop.
Woo!
You can see it if you slow it down. The head goes first and then stays absolutely still while the body
Okay, so it's not a thrust, guys.
moves forward to join it. And it turns out they're not broken at all. This movement has to do with their vision. Here's one way to look at it. Let's say that you are casually perusing some random page on the internet. You wouldn't do this. Continuous scrolling? No, you can't focus on anything.
Yes,
It'd make you sick.
Yeah,
That's why it's
okay,
hard to
stop doing that.
go through an Instagram feed with someone else driving, for example. More
Could
like
you stop doing it?
you would do something like this, scroll and pause. And that's because the light receptors in our eyes need a moment to recover between images, or else it's all a blur. That's essentially what the pigeon is doing with its head. Now we
Okay,
don't
but I want a cat one. Hold up. Pigeon with a head. Crows. Oh gosh, crows. I want crows. The Rise of the Kitten Snake. That's one of my favorites. Draft of Creepy Dave Christmas. Let's say Zifrank. Lions or something like that. True cats. The true facts. Cats killer senses. Let's go.
Members of the family Felidae are
Woohoo! Felidae. Let's go. Cat videos with Kitty. Have a good night. BMO. See you tomorrow and sleep tight like a burrito. Very cute. Pigeons taste great with a spicy barbecue sauce. Sis. I like crows. They make horrible noises, but They're pretty cool, I must say.
obligate carnivores. All cats, from the majestic four-nippled tiger to the 6 to 8 on average, some
The majestic four-nippled tiger? I didn't know tigers only had 4 nipples. Are we serious? Hold up. Do tigers only have 4 nipples? How many nipples do tigers have? Do male tigers have nipples? Yes, almost all male placental. No. Nipples in the legacy of vestigial traits. Primates, male and female primates. No, just tell me. Just tell me. Do tigers only have 4 nipples? This is Copilot telling me. Actually, female tigers typically have 8 nipples, not just 4. Like many large cats. Exactly. So why would you say 4 nipples, Sir Frank? You lying shit. Big pupper cat. Listen to it. He does say 4 nipples.
sometimes cats, from the majestic four-nippled tiger to the 6 to 8 on average, sometimes an odd-numbered nippled domestic cat, must
Sometimes an odd nipple. Daisy, how many nipples you got, baby girl?
eat meat to survive. Despite being very good at puking up grass, they have
They're good at puking up everything.
lost the ability to digest and ferment most plant matter. However, they're very good at digesting meat and organs with levels of fat that would quickly give us a heart attack. Cats have evolved into exceptional hunters with exceptional sensory capabilities.
Cats are the best things in the world, guys, just so you know. You must be a sleeper pup. There's only a few majestic four-nipple tigers. Only a few of them. They're even more rare than most tigers. They're endangered species.
However, all of this may have been driven by a lack of sense. All cats lack the ability to taste sweet. An
Yeah, I know. But that doesn't stop anyone from making chocolate cat, like safe chocolate, cat chocolate treats and shit like that, because humans.
irreversible genetic mutation in a common ancestor made their sweet receptors inoperable. So sweet and sour soup just tastes like sour soup. Cats may have become
Oh, Daisy, you can't. That's why Daisy is so sweet. She herself is just sweet. She doesn't taste sweet, but she's just out there exuding sweet.
the super predators that they are because everything else just tasted like crap. To take my ding-dongs away, I'd go a little crazy too. What other small evolutionary quirks and adaptations can help explain
They're so perfect.
the cat? What makes the tiger Why'd you bleep that? I mean, like,
Why'd you bleep that? That sounds like a Zax thing. How do they know what cats can taste? Certain receptors, the way they insert, they look at what kind of receptor cells they have.
talk like a follow me while we go behind the tiger. That's weird. Inside? Follow me while we go inside behind the tiger? Oh, just
The tiger's like, excuse me?
inside the tiger. I think that's worse. Whatever.
Oh, why are tigers so beautiful? Honestly, it's just... And you want to pet the thing, but it's not a kitty cat. It's a murder kitty. It's not the same thing. You can't have it as a pet. I know, but you want to, don't you?
Inside behind the tiger? Oh, just inside the tiger. I think that's worse. Whatever. We'll talk about cats after a quick message about our sponsor. Arrives in this minute. Here's Rhino. That's
Speaking
how
of game addiction. Hey, cat girls. All kitty cats are murder kitties. That's true, WZ. There's not a feline sexual position adaptable to human sexual positions, but we all do doggy style and read raw dog. There is no kitty style or clean cat. Listen, kitty style is exactly the same as doggy style. That is how they mate. It's the same position. Except the whole barbed penis thing. It's you have to modify your body for that. Because cats have barbed penises. That's the joke. What did I join into? We're talking about cats. Kitty style is when you get stuck. You see?
You look exactly as good as Tigra when I wear this outfit. Hitmonkey and Tigra are new this month. List of champions. Go download it.
Anyone played
Cats
that?
have very good night vision. They can see it.
Axel last night, speaking of night vision, I don't know what the frack. I thought kitty style was between two Lebanese. I don't get that. but I'm sure it's funny. If I was Superman, I would domesticate a tiger, bear, lion, hippo. Yeah, why not? Just domesticate them. Make them floofy floofs. Chill, but that's a lot to feed. That is a lot of food for your pets. Anyway, last night Axel just lost his shit. Cats, that's the thing. The fact that he just lost his shit out of nowhere, he was just like, "Oh my god," and ran away. Like he was on the bed, and then Gordon just went like this and patted him, and then he must have gotten a fright or something, and he ran away. Sure, that's okay. But if a tiger does that and it gets a fright and its claws come out, you're fucking dead, boys. They're not supposed to be pets. Don't do it.
In the dark almost 6 times better than we can. When the lights come up at the club, they're not as surprised at who they've been dancing with. They have a tapetum lucidum, which is a reflective layer inside the eye and behind the retina.
Kitty cats, they reflect. Oh, okay, I get it. I thought Kitty Style was, Kitty Style would be it would be scissors, the murder mittens. My cat got trapped and my mom tried to help and the cat bit and clawed her hands and arms. The room looked like a murder happened. She had to go to the hospital from the swelling. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like there's cat scratch fever. There's just all the bacteria that they have on their claws and whatever. They're like venomous. Whatever.
The retina is where light-detecting photoreceptors are. So light hits those receptors on the way in and then is bounced back through those receptors again, amplifying the response.
Look how majestic these things are. Just a little kitty cat in the garden is fucking amazing. Okay? Right? Agreed?
To available light that enters the eye.
Did I always have the tattoos on my arms? Yes, I did. It's often forgotten about because my camera hasn't been good enough and it's been in different it hasn't been as good, so you just see it looks like I just got newspaper basically.
Think of it like how the taste of a Taco Bell bean burrito is amplified by tasting it while you eat it, and then again when you verp it back up. The tapetum lucidum.
Okay, I like that, guys. Hello, never going full sleeve. I you know what? The only reason I wouldn't go full sleeve is because I have no muscles here, so I don't know about it. You know, this at least is like it's a nice place to have your pictures. Here it's a bit too variable. You know what I'm saying? So I might go on the outside. It's a lot better. But yeah, the only thing as well is if I get tattoos, it'll probably only be when I'm overseas. It'll only be when I'm in South Africa, because there is an artist there that I'm very much committed to. So yeah, if I do that, don't know where. I don't know. I think my next tattoo might be on my shoulder or something like that. Yeah, she did the Constantine thing. The let's go, we researching burritos. Yeah, damn, I didn't know you went to prison, gang. I'm joking, they look sick, thanks. So yeah, I don't know about the full sleeve. I've got more tattoos than my husband. I wouldn't mind if he did cuffs like this too. But yeah, the same artist did my both sides. So okay.
So that means one.
Also, yes, guys, did you hear the explanation that he gave? So we're talking about research here. We're nerding out. We're supposed to nerd out to the reaction stuff, right? So it's got this transparent or reflective. They've got this reflective layer in their eyeballs, and it repeats the light. Basically, it reflects it. So the way that he gave us to understand this is like, oh, it's like retasting food. Because you burp up Taco Bell and you taste it again. So I think that's actually a pretty good metaphor, whatever explanation for it. I think it's pretty funny.
What creates that eye shine effect? I mean, it's a little awkward if you're trying to hide. It's like if a ninja rode to work on his bike and then forgot to take his little pant cuff reflectors off. I see you, ninja. Like many animals, cats have
tiger eyes, boys. Donation goal when they can pick the image you get tattooed on. Not a fucking chance. I'm not like that with my tattoos. There are people that don't give a shit. They have fun with their tattoos. They're like they'll have a kid draw it and then they go and they give it to the tattoo artist and whatever. And now this tiger's got eye shit, and I'm like, I want to clean his eye. But yeah, I would not do that. I'm like I think some people have done with Rhett and Link. They let Rhett and Link what's the name, do their design their tattoo for them, and they don't mind about it because it's just, oh, it's so cool that Rhett and Link did it. It's like, not a fuck. No, it has to have a meaning for me, and it's got to be pretty. I think I'm still gonna find probably some issues trying to get employed with these. So I'm gonna have to wear long sleeves a lot. So I don't know. Check with me next year how that's going.
A palpebral tertia, or third eyelid. This is what sometimes
I draw all my tattoos. Oh, that's cool. That's even more meaningful. It's like you drew it. You've decided, for better or worse. No, but the thing is, it's yours. You've created it. So the only thing I've done is just given references, and I just trust my artist guy. If he uses references, and then when it comes to actually him doing it, the shading and everything, there's a lot of trust involved. I don't know if you guys can see the dragon. You can probably only see, you're just going to see my hair. There's the dragon. My mom calls it a bird. Come on. Yeah, I'll have to try and I still have to make Gordon take a photo of my tattoos properly. Skeet, what's Gucci, my ninjas? We are just talking some tattoos. I think I need to. I covered up my cat because I had a cat tattoo. That was my first one. I covered it up because it wasn't as good as the rest of everything that the guy's done. So I'll get a cat probably. Why no color on your tattoos? I really, really just like the grayscale look. I love the shading that is possible with it. And when it fades, it's just faded. Like, these are old tattoos. You can see. And he also used white very, very well. So yeah, I prefer grayscale. It just feels so much. It seems so much better. It ages better, in my opinion. Good night. Oh, good night. Got a DM for the Sitch and Adam game tomorrow. Oh yes, guys, go and see. Well, I'm sure you're seeing it already. So I really should hit the sack. Good night, Kitty and chat. Good night, JMac. We shall see you. I'm gonna try and tune in for that live, but I keep missing them. What? Yeah. So sleep well, guys. Go and see on. I think it's Sitch and Adam's How to Kill a Franchise channel, where JMac is DMing. So go and see it. That's what we want to see. Never mind Sitch and Adam. You just want to see JMac DMing. He speaks about these things, but you want to see him do it, right? Fucking cool. Okay, kitty cats, let's go.
Sometimes makes your cat look like a little demon baby when it wakes up. Think of it like a moist wipe, but
thanks. Moist wipe, guys.
For your eye. This membrane cleans and moistens.
Okay, that membrane thing, that actually got torn. Xena, my cat, she got hers torn when she got into a fight. So one of hers was not very well done, but she was fine. Hello and bye. 8 a.m. here. I'm going to bed. Good night. Good morning, stiff kittens. Go sleep.
The surface of the eye while also protecting it. Humans have a little fold called a plica semilunaris on the inside.
Of course, you're going to use a blue-eyed person for that. What about us black-eyed people?
Corner of their eye, which is a remnant of this membrane. It's not that.
Oh, it's a remnant. We've got a vestigial membrane.
Weird little bump. That's the lacrimal caruncle. Kind of want to pop it. You may have noticed that the pupil shape of a tiger is different than that of a domestic cat. There's lots of pupil shapes out there. Some are vertical, some.
Oh god, the weird goat ones. That is so weird. I can't handle them. The sideways ones. But goats are very cute, so I kind of get over it eventually.
Are horizontal. Some, like ours, are rounded in shape. And then whatever the hell this is.
I saw a clip of Love, Death and Robots that has cats in it. Ooh! Blue eyes, such racism, absolutely. Well, we're gonna go and give us a link to your graduation, Rex, so we can react to it. I come close to getting a tattoo right after high school, and now because of the skin grafts, there's not a ton of space to get one. Yeah, I probably could have to get on one of the butt cheeks. Why not? There you go, pristine butt cheek without grafts on it, and say like this spot was saved or something like that. Yeah, the skin grafts. My dad's got skin grafts on his chest, and he was like, should I try and get tattoos there? And I don't think it just won't work. How much for you to react to the latest Tyler Perry movie, Straw? We're gonna get copyright strike, so no. No way, it's so embarrassing. Oh, come on. Pristine butt cheek. Yeah. I saw a clip of love. Yeah, anyway, okay, cool. We're good. I'm caught up on chat.
Mouth of a sad ghost. And
It is mouth of a sad guy. That's what I thought.
stupid clans, they don't even have pupils. They're dumb. You look like
Hey, just because you don't have pupils doesn't mean you're dumb.
Jabba the Hutt when he got all horny. Horny Jabba. Martin Banks and et al., who's like the best
Et al is in everyone. Et al does a lot of research. I love it. Thanks.
scientist. He's on horny. Horny Jabba. Martin Banks and et al., who's like the best scientist. He's on all the papers. Use their sciences to explain these differences.
Look how beautiful and majestic. Daisy's eyes are like that. They're that kind of color. They've got that weird. Okay, it's a little bit yellower, but they've got that weird. Do you see this lining over here, around there? Daisy do.
It turns out that vertical pupils create an increased depth
I think we have to listen, peepers. I think we have to pay Rex to give us the link to his graduation. I don't have tattoos because I don't do witchcraft. Well, I haven't activated mine. Mine are just for decoration.
depth of field on vertical contours. This means that if you focus on an object,
Oh, look how you can't see me. I'm not moving. I'm camouflaged. Yes.
vertical things like blades of grass in front of or behind that object
Oh, wiggle your bum.
don't go out of focus as much as horizontal things do. This information can be used by the brain parts to more precisely calculate depth, and this
Oh, calculate depth. I don't think Daisy has the best depth perception. She's been a bit clumsy.
arrangement is found in hunters that ambush and pounce on their prey. However, this benefit diminishes as you get taller. Lower to the
Ah.
ground predators
Oh my gosh, foxes are so cute. Is it spoilers if I tell Kitty what the cats were fighting? When? What the cats were fighting when?
like foxes and kitty cats have vertical pupils, while their taller relatives like wolves and big cats have round pupils. And this would explain why almost all birds have round
Beards! I love the way he says beards. I don't care, it never gets old. I look like such a dork maybe someday when I don't care about it anymore. I wonder if my graduation's somewhere online. I had a rip in my dress at my second graduation. It was great times. I noticed it when I sat down. So I don't know what it looked like. I think I was wearing a robe at least. So the robe covered it up, but then I found out afterwards, I'm like, oh, this dress is just, it's over, huh?
pupils.
Let's let him say birds again because we love it.
Horizontal, and this would explain why almost all birds have round pupils.
I have not watched Death and Robots. I love Death and Robots. So it would be a spoiler. My cat kills butterflies for fun. She's a serial killer. Butterflies are so gentle, but yeah, we had a lot of butterflies at my mom's house. Cats would always go after them because they're just so fluttery and cute.
Horizontal pupils are a bit different. They tend to be on prey animals with side-facing eyes. These function more to create a wide panorama that can discern a predator's movement across horizontal lines
Eyes are freaking weird, man.
on the landscape. This only really works if the pupil is parallel to the horizon. And in these
Okay, so I get it. My sister's cat loved killing the neighbor's chickens. Oh, that's great. That's gonna get you popular. Just keep your cats inside.
Animals, as their head moves up and down, their eyes rotate to keep their pupils
Okay,
in
no,
line.
tell us more
Once
about
a cat
cats.
is locked in on its target,
Yeah.
it's probably trying to get as much visual information as possible before it flies blind, so to speak. Because of their relatively
Look how beautiful and majestic this is.
big-ass eyes,
I do. She kept getting out. Oh, okay, Auntie.
cats can't really focus on things closer than about 11 inches.
It's pretty funny, okay? When you try and give your cat a treat that's right in front of it, it's like, you what? You what, mate? It's good. Like, no, here, smell it. See where, okay, get your whiskers around it, because they can't, their eyes are useless close up.
This is a bit of an awkward blind spot to have if you use your face to kill things. The cat's vibrissae, or whiskers, help fill in this information gap. These are sturdy hands.
Whiskers. Oh. Why? Why they gotta be so cuddly and cute looking? And I mean, their fur is rough as fuck. It looks nice and luxurious, but it's rough.
Hairs that go deep into the skin where they are surrounded by sensory
Don't you prefer to go like this and scratch the chin? Just scratch the chin of the tiger. It's cool. I'll scratch the chin of the tiger as it kills me.
receptors. Like a fishing pole, the hair itself can't feel, but the receptors are like your finger on the line. As the whiskers are displaced, these receptors respond to things like the force, direction, and acceleration of that movement to create.
Daisy, can't you come here and show us how majestic you are? Daisy! 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 Bitch.
Create a kind of touch picture. Sort of like when you feel around for keys in a cluttered handbag, except
Big.
better. It seems as though they can even sense the air currents surrounding objects.
See, I understand the whole industry of playing with cubs now. It's like, I understand that, but we cannot do it. We simply must resist, okay? We just have to. Look at them. They're so cute, but they're not for us. We have cats. We have domestic cats, and that's it. And they're good enough. I mean, look at that.
Cats attack. This shot goes later. When cats attack, their whiskers move forward. Okay, so it's...
Yeah, I've seen that, and oof. Lions, man. Daisy just prepping CPV time. You know what she's doing? She's doing psychological violence right now by ignoring me. She's even moved a little bit back. She's making herself less visible. Daisy!
It's a bit of a fart in a hurricane if you're trying to stop a charge.
Oh, God! I don't... There's certain wildlife documentaries I can't watch because of this kind of thing.
Giraffe. But if you hunt large animals with a precision bite, it can be the difference between dinner and getting all messed up. Whiskers may even allow a cat to feel the pulse of its prey.
That's nice. That's nice. It feels the pulse of you. That's good.
So it knows when it's safe to let go. Cats have a very good sense of smell, with over 40 times the odor.
Show us stink face. Show us stink face, guys. You guys, cat owners know what stink face is. Are you going to do it? You're going to do it? Do it right now. Are you doing it? Stink face.
Detecting cells in their nose parts. Cats communicate through scent. For example, here is this lion's Tinder and LinkedIn profiles, all in one.
I got sprayed by my cat once like this. It's a girl. She was a girl and she was doing this.
It's like the internet, except communicated by pissing all over stuff. It's basically the internet. To really get up in there and interpret these signals, they have another smelly...
Stink face. It's the Jacobson's organ, right? Just eat a nice salad. The guy's the Benedict Cumberbatch of penguins. This guy's like penguins. Penguins. I'm sorry, Nicholas. Please stick around. I'm going to get boring again. Don't worry. I have to finish reading my research paper. People have thought that they've taken me off it, but I'm going to finish reading it, you shit faces.
A smelly organ called the vomeronasal, or Jacobson's organ.
Yeah, I got it right. Stink face from kitty cat. Stink face from kitty cat. Here we go.
It is located above the roof
No, that's a yawn, you shit face. Give cat stink face.
of the mouth behind the front teeth where the cat has little...
Oh, it's so... Look how autistic. Look at it. Look at the teeths, guys. Look at the teeths. Why are cats so perfect? Why are they so beautiful? I love them so much. Look at just even their teeth are cute. I can't handle it.
Ducts that lead to it. When
Also, we found out on Tuesday that that I might have a parasite in my brain that just makes me love cats. So there's that.
animals that have this organ use it, they exhibit what should be called stank mouth, but
Stank fat mouth? No, it's stink face.
scientists call it Flamon's response, whatever. You know Flamon must have liked the stank, though. I'll check to see if the milk is good kind of guy. What's that brown thing on the carpet?
Stink face. It's pretty funny. It makes for good voiceovers. Yes, everybody who has toxoplasmosis in the chat, go and love on your cat. That's a real thing. It is a real thing. They give it to mice, and mice get attracted to cats. I was cleaning the litzer the other day, and I'm like, I don't think I have it because I'm not in the least attracted to what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing it because I have to.
Go get Flamin'.
But then on the other hand, I'm like, my husband has done it before, but he'd rather let me do it.
Smell it. In any case, you know when you try and smell your own breath without using your hand and you think no one notices? This is what you look like. Domestic cat owners will sometimes see this after their cat has a quick chat with its eye of Sauron, so to speak.
No, it doesn't do this all the time. It does it with anything. If you give a certain scent to Axe or Daisy, they could go. If it's too strong, they won't even get close to it. But any scent worth their time, if it's chicken or something like that, they might do that.
You know the position. It's the, what honey, my doctor asked me to send him a picture of my hemorrhoid position. Telemedicine. Oh, don't front. We know what you were going to lick your toes? Is that how you normally do it?
Cats can be trained to use the toilet way easier than human kids. I almost did that. I started doing that with my cats in South Africa. And then I saw a cat daddy video, which from Jackson Galaxy. And he was like, don't do that to your cats. Just let them do what's natural to them. Let them dig. So that's what I've done. I stopped training them to use the toilet. They were doing pretty well. Because basically the way you train them is you put the cat litter on the toilet, and then they start using it and whatever. So we had started that, but then I was like, no. We got into a bigger place. We could get more cat litters, so much better. If you've trained your cat, pretty good on you. My cats, my mom's cats, they would decide that the bathtub is a good place. Like you guys pee in these porcelain things. Bathtub's pretty good, right? Why are you mad at me? Why are you mad, bro? I'm pissing you by the drain.
One of the most striking features of a cat's tongue is that it is rough. You'd think it'd be meow. Sorry.
I almost didn't get that. You'd think it'd be meow. Yeah, no, that's very rough. Like they use that. Hello, boys and girls. They use that to take the fur off their prey. They lick the fur off their prey.
A dad joke. Being licked by a cat is kind of like watching a 2-year-old that just learned how to blow through a harmonica. Super cute at first, and then quickly becomes painful.
Yeah, if it carries on. Or you could get infected because they've just licked their butt and they lick you.
Cats' tongues are covered in little spiky papillae made of keratin, the same stuff that makes fingernails. Scratchy. For a long time,
she pauses looking at it.
these papillae were assumed to be solid conical spikes. However, Dr. Alexis Knoll
See, they just lick the meat off.
and et al., again, was looking
Fucking
at how
et al.
papillae might help a cat eat by dragging a cat tongue over a piece of pork.
That's really great. That's really great. I'm very happy for you. This is why I can't do biology, really. I'll do psychology, but I can't do this.
As one does in science. She had a lot of tongues lying around, all donated post-mortem.
We done?
You know she has a good comeback when somebody says, "What's the matter, cat? Got your tongue?"
Oh, stop it.
Oh, you'll find it's just the opposite,
Okay,
Mr.
carry
Bond.
on.
Anywho, Dr.
Yes, please. Go to the next thing. What is this?
found that after cleaning the papillae, some of the meat was still stuck. A closer look revealed that the papillae are not solid cones, but rather grooved in a U shape. It turns out that
they
these
scoop.
grooves are just the right size to pull in and hold a certain amount of saliva from the mouth through surface tension.
They're venomous. They're venomous. So yeah, they put a lot of spit. Daisy got a lot of spit as well, and she'll put it all over the phone and shit like that.
This is very useful in grooming, which is like the cat's main gig. Cats
It is their main gig. They put lots of spit on them, and then you pat them afterwards, and they're like, "You've just ruined my whole scent. You now have put your filthy human scent on." They're going to start licking.
have 2 layers of fur, an outer protective coat of longer, thicker hairs, and an undercoat of many, many fine hairs. If the cat had a smooth tongue, its saliva would cause the top layers of hairs to mat and stick together,
Ew.
and would only partially penetrate the fur. In the grooming motion of the cat, however, the papillae rotate to become
They were a brush, but you still have to brush your cats. Still brush your cats, guys. It helps them out.
perpendicular with the tongue, while the fur is compressed. This allows the papillae to get all the way to the surface of the skin. As these are drawn through the fur, they deposit the trapped saliva along the thin strands of hair and onto the skin.
Yeah, so your kitty cat is full of cat spit.
Even big furry
And when I kiss him, I'm kissing all his cat spit.
cats like the snow leopard can reach their skin with their papillae. Only the domestic Persian has fur too long and dense for
Yeah, and we did that. We did that to them. We created that.
effective self-grooming. You can kind of tell. This grooved tongue brush filled with spit adaptation is good for cleaning, but it may also be vital for cooling. Cats have very
If you put all your spit on your fur and then you let it evaporate, cool. We're not sweating, but we're cooling down from spit.
few sweat glands, and the ones they have are mainly on the pads of their paws.
I know, they're so cute looking. Look at the beans. Look at them.
Wait, how many toes is that? The saliva that they deposit on their skin and fur evaporates and helps them cool down. Cats use another fancy tongue trick. When they
Yeah, water gets all caught in that.
drink, that is if they can actually find the water. They can't really see things close up, but
Yeah, that's why a fountain's a lot better for them.
still, heaven forbid you get your nose a tiny bit wet.
Daisy does that. Daisy does that all the time with her paw.
Trust me, I could drink beer out of a bucket in the dark. Both dogs and cats curl their tongues backward when they drink, but the dog creates a kind of little spoon shape that goes under the water and scoops it up and brings it back to the mouth. Since the
Why are dog tongues not as cute as cat tongues?
dogs do it
Because there's no toxoplasmosis that's working on my brain.
that way, the cat had to do it all different. Instead of going under the water, cats rest a smooth part of their curled under tongue on the surface of the water.
Yep.
This creates liquid adhesion.
See, I knew all of these things from the quiz thing that I was doing when I was the best cat quiz person, because I knew all of these things. I would get them wrong and then I would learn them and then I would know stuff about cats.
Which you can kind of feel if you put your palm on the surface of water. Try it when your roommate is in a bath. For science. When the cat pulls its tongue back, water
Don't give your cats milk. They're probably lactose intolerant and won't think thank you. They'll like it, but they won't thank you afterwards. And you know what? If you're cleaning up their litter, serves you right.
is pulled up with it through inertia. This creates a column of water suspended for a moment before gravity screws everything up. The cat's mouth quickly chomps on that water column before it falls. Lots of complicated little sips.
That's why they have to go. They go very, very slowly. I mean, very quickly.
Sort of like eating by throwing things up in the air and trying to catch them in your mouth. Like some young people are wont to do with grapes.
Great.
Yes, the cat is remarkable to behold for its strength, speed, and
Remarkable to behold. Excuse me. More than remarkable. It is. They are spectacular. Is the word.
power. But perhaps it is the small things that truly let us take a peek behind the cat. Are you not hearing that? I'm telling you, it doesn't sound right. And by the way, you don't have to take a peek behind a cat. They'll parade it around right in front of you.
Well, I hope that we can keep that on and we don't get copyright struck for it because it was very, very fun. I actually have something interesting that we can play for a sec before I finish my reading, because I'm still not over that. Thank you. They'll thank you for shitting on your white couch. Who will thank me? The cats will thank you. I need to go to. There's no cat in this picture. Let's go to my likes and I will find it. Wait, Americans, I just want to ask you something. Did you guys have this? This thing here? I'm dying for one now. Anyway, let's see if I can find kitty cats. Those are Rosales' cats. Okay, yeah, this is one of my favorite accounts to follow on the Twitter, especially when we've got war going on and all of that. What is that? What is what? What is that? Okay, so it is yogurt, and it's got like these little cereal balls, or like chocolate with cereal inside. Yeah, you would break you would fold this part over here and put it into yogurt. This or yogurt over here. So you would break that in there, and then you would have a nice little. We had one of those with fruit. Lame. You got to have it with sugary treats. Sugary goodness. I don't know if we have them anymore, but this, just the nostalgia going around right now. Oh, with these things makes you sad. Because obviously all of the things that was when you were a child and all of that. But anyway, yes, on Twitter things can get really tough. So what you need to do is follow. There is no cat in this image. So it's a whole bunch of. I mean, it's what it says on the box. There will be no cats in the image, but you find the cat. Right? That's the whole point. So let's see if I can zoom in enough for you guys. I'll have to make it bigger, I suppose, to make it a bit more fair. Nostalgia because we're all going to die in a nuclear war. Exactly. Perfect sleep time. Okay, so let's put that here. There is no cat in this image. You would think, okay, that's the cat. This is not a very good one, but let's zoom in. No, it's not going to zoom in the picture. I'll have to copy paste them so we can get closer. Open image in new tab. Let's go here. Show this. Okay. So obviously that's not that bad. That's not a very good one. Obviously there's a cat there. That can get really challenging. So let's see another one. Oopsie. I will get another. No, come on. They're not supposed to be this easy, like this. I wonder where it is. Come on. I think we have that, but I don't eat yogurt that much. We have parfait. Parfait! Got layers. That's the only reason I know about parfait is because of Shrek. Woo, this one looks like a good one. Okay. From the archives. Okay, let's go here. Okay, come on guys. See if you can find the cat. Okay, so usually you go, okay, I would find it. Where would we find a cat? Usually would be. I would think it's over here. It's like in there. Is it at the window? Can't see. Let's see. If I zoom in, will it work? Yeah. Okay. Okay, pine cones. No. So you'll end up like looking at little stupid things like, okay, well, there's like a little thing there. It looks like an eye. So maybe there's a face, but no. Everything is cat colored in here. Has anyone seen it? I haven't seen it yet. Let's put the music on for this. No, I have to find it without going into the replies. Because my brain is programmed to find cats. There it is! There it is. Right? Can you guys see it? Let me zoom in even more. There. See, it's just the little ears, the side, and these little paws. Let's see. Let's go to the tweet itself. Yeah. There it is. Sweet. Okay, one more. Oh, this one I did yesterday. So I already know that. This one will be fun. An unusual crop from the archives. Okay, open a new tab. Let's see another one. Open a new tab. So this is what I do on the internet when I'm sad. Is I go and look at these things. Okay. Unusual crop. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's too easy. That's too easy. Okay. Open image in new tab. Okay, let's find you. Fusiform facial recognition. Fusiform feline recognition. There's a whole part of your brain that looks for faces. So I have mine calibrated for feline. Come on. I'm dying. I can't see it. Good Lord. No, it's a lie. Come on. Anyone see it? When it does come out, pop out at you, you're like, oh. Durr. Where would it be? In the tree? I'm gonna look for the answer. From the archives. Let's see. No freaking way. Beautiful cats? No, that's a lie. Somebody put that there. Maybe you see lights? That's a lie. Share tab. What? No. Okay, so somebody just obviously put that in there, but yeah, there it is. They didn't create this by mistake. There it is. There is a kitty cat. So yeah, recommendation, go and do that when you are sad. Go and look for cats in pictures. It's literally like when you were a kid and you did a little look for Wally. Where's Wally? Go and do a where's kitty cat. Okay, finishing up our exploration about this study. So we also need to put Nicholas to sleep. So let's get to the other way. I'll be reading to you. Today, numerous studies have tried to analyze the relationship between the use of violent video games and the development of violent behaviors, their results not being conclusive though. Conversely, some research has tried to study the relationship between pathological gaming and aggressive behavior. However, despite the violent video games have consistently been identified as most popular among consumers, to date, no study has analyzed the influence of violence in video games and pathological gaming on CPV. Remember, guys, CPV is child-parent violence. Therefore, the main objective of the study was to analyze a sample. Based on prior research, we proposed the following hypotheses. Hypotheses. Hypothesis 1. Regarding exposition to violence in video games and CPV, no specific hypothesis was made due to the incongruent results in previous studies. So it's like we don't know. So we don't know. We didn't make a hypothesis according to video games and CPV. But hypothesis 2, pathological gaming would be associated with high levels of CPV. Hypothesis 3, justification of violence would be associated with higher levels of CPV. So those are oh, there's more. Hypothesis 4, the exposure of violence on television would be associated with higher levels of CPV. This hypothesis was disproved because they said it wasn't. They found that violent video games, violent TV, was not with CPV, apparently. Method. Sampling method and study population. So we had like 400 students, and that's how they did this study. I grew up on violent video games and still play them. I've never heard anyone psychobabble bullshit. Yeah. There's just too many people that play violent video games that do not engage in violence. And it seems like they play around with the definition of violence as well. Like violence and aggression are not necessarily the same thing. Aggression leads to violence. I can agree with that. But having aggression isn't exactly, it's not violence itself. Okay, the current sampling method and study population, the current study follows a correlational cross-sectional design and has been conducted in Spain. So they did this with Spanish people. The sample of the study consisted of 439 participants, 238 males and 201 females. So we have to use percentages. The sample size was bigger in males, but if we're just using percentages, it's fine. From 7 different centers of secondary education. If you guys can hear the noises in the background, it's my cats scratching on cardboard because we give them things to stimulate them because they're indoor cats. All the participating centers were located in neighborhoods with a medium socioeconomic level. So, okay, so it's medium. They can have access to games, I suppose. They're not going to all have a Nintendo Switch, but yeah, they'll be exposed to video games probably. They're not exactly dying of poverty. They're in the medium socioeconomic, except for 2 of them which belong to a neighborhood with medium high socioeconomic. Okay. 3 centers were private subsidized schools and 4 centers were public schools. Okay, so we've got that. Got private and public. Convenience sampling. Gotta love convenience sampling. Was employed because it provides easier access to the sample and implies a greater willingness of the participants to take part in the study. Yeah, I remember that. Studying that. It's like, what kind of sample are you going to make? Convenience sample. What sample is yours going to make? Because you did your research in varsity. What sample are you going to use in convenience samples? I remember that. Participants' ages range from 13 to 18. With the mean as 15, a standard deviation of 1.17. That's the only maths that we did in psychology was standard deviations. That's all we did for research. Sampled these samples. Hey, Cyber, you missed my like proper slop reaction. Now we're reacting to research again. We did what's the name? Some stuff. What we watched is A Frank, anything like that. But you know what? If you're a very special person because you gave me the idea of just doing the reaction. So like your comment, I was like, you know what? When I read your comment, I was like, yeah, why the fuck not? So actually, we're doing this, guys. We're doing this because of Cyberringer's reaction comment when I said recommend what we're gonna do, and she's like, just recommend watch anything and it's fine. So if there's anything you want me to watch, Cyberringer, you have the ability to recommend. Just tell me. And then otherwise we're just going to continue reading about violent video games. Are you a violent person because of your video games? 200 out of 9 billion isn't science, it's propaganda. Listen, we're just making we're getting some anecdotes. It's a sophisticated anecdote is what it is. Okay. With 147 of them aged 13 to 14, 205 age 15 to 16, 87 age 17 to 18, regarding how often they play video games. 121 adolescents play less than once a month. What? How do these people live? Listen, I haven't played for a very long time, but I'm not understanding. Actually, if you remember my 2 recommends, I said we're both about violent video games, 40k and Dark Sun LMAO. But videos themselves. But yeah, you didn't. Your other recommendations were in chat, but on the post itself, that's what I'm talking about. But I'm looking at research now, so it works. It works. It's kind of along the lines. I wonder which violent games they actually are talking about, because that's another thing. What do they call? What do they classify as a violent video game? Which is what I want to find with this. They're talking about sampling method, but I want to know about the questionnaire and things like that. Okay, 17 to 18, regarding how often they play video games, 121 adolescents, 27% play less than once a month. Yeah, that's not 62 play between once or 3 times a month. They're lying. 92, 21 play once or twice a week. And 15.9% play, 70 of them play 3 or 4 times a week. So I guess the gamers that are 15% of the population, let's just pretend, the 15.9% of the population is kind of gamer, and then we've got 6.2% of the population are super gamers, play 5 or 6 times a week, and oh wait, no, we got 15.3% play at least once a day. See, that's a gamer. You play once a day. I would play once a day when I was at that age, but then I stopped gaming and started reading, because my computer could not keep up with the games, and then we didn't get the next console, so I fell off. Girl fell off. My favorite game is Violence 4. Yeah, I love Violence 4. Great stuff, especially the blood effect in Violence 4. Right behind Bad Game 2. No, what about Murder Game? Okay. With respect to the marital status of the parents, most of them were married. Wow. Nicely well done, guys. Followed by those who were separated or divorced, 21%. Smaller percentage cohabited without being married. Okay, so liberals. While in some cases, one or both parents were deceased. Oh, that's sad. 3.1%. Additionally, a small percentage represented single parents. Wow, this is interesting. Well done. 0.5%, or adoptive parents, 0.4%. So it's like, interesting. That's really good. I'm a once a day gamer because I have no life. Still have never hurt anyone. Not yet, master. What games are you playing? Are you playing Barbie's Dream House? How old is this document? I remember the most fervent sensorial enjoyers started with Duke Nukem. This is actually a 2024 study. It was published in 2024. I suppose it was conducted in probably, it was accepted in April 2024, and it was published in September. So maybe it's like 2023 they did this. So it's, but I want to know what they did with the games, what games they did. So they talk about the population sampling. Cool, very nice. To obtain the socio-demographic data of the participants, a set of questions regarding the city of origin, sex, age, and school grade was included. A question on the marital status of the parents was also included, clearly, because we got that information up there. The measures used to evaluate the variables of the interest for the study are described below. Okay. Exposure or use of violent video games. Interesting. I want to see what they call this. This questionnaire was designed based on the items elaborated by these guys in 2019. Participants had to indicate, on the one hand, the frequency with which they play games, video games, okay, the names of the video games they have played in the last 6 months. Okay, so that's good. They didn't prescribe which games. Have you played this? Have you played that? So we don't skew it that way. They tell us what the games they play. I like that idea. The names of the video games they have played in the last 6 months and the number of hours played. That's again self-report, but it's not what we do. It's what else can we do? We could, I suppose, get accurate numbers, more accurate numbers based from consoles and things like that. But anyway, on the other hand, they had to indicate the names of the 3 video games they've played the most in their whole life. Monster Hunter World! Literally, I think it's a year of work is the amount of time I've spent. Like Gordon worked it out. He saw how many hours I did on Monster Hunter World, and then he was like, "Okay, so if that was a working week, if we work out how many hours you would do in a year, yeah, basically I've done a year of work weeks just playing Monster Hunter World, and I'm still not good at the game. Practice does not make perfect. Okay. In order to categorize these video games as there we go. Let's see how they categorize, because there is going to still be categorization. This is something that we spoke that was actually part of the Jordan Peterson debate discussion thing that he did. Right? He was saying that even science has a value layer, because we can try and be scientific about things, but what we focus on is a value judgment, and that is very, very clear in the humanities. You're always going to have this kind of thing. So now what they've had to do here is categorize what is violent and non-violent. When you do that, you're influencing what your results are going to be, right? But you have to do it. What else are you going to do? I have 670 hours on Monster Hunter World, probably like 3,500 hours altogether, starting with Monster Hunter. I don't know what it for. Something, I'm trying to think of the name. Monster Hunter? I don't know. You tell me. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum. Duke Nukem. I remember watching Duke Nukem streams on Twitch. Freedom Unite. Oh, okay. I've only played Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World was my first Monster Hunter, so I guess you can call me Normie that way. But then Monster Hunter Rise, and now Monster Hunter Wilds. And you know what I'm thinking, guys? If you follow me over to the gaming channel, I'm gonna have lunch, and then we can go and do a gaming stream over on the gaming channel. We'll play Monster Hunter. So there's that. Do a new Duke Nukem 3D stream. I don't have Duke Nukem, but guys, if you haven't already subscribed, do it, because it'll be later. Maybe I can put it in here. My chat is just updating. Anyway, yeah, we'll do some violent video games, guys. Can you imagine? Let's put this here, this correlation here. All the Monster Hunter people, the people that play Monster Hunter, are they animal killers? Do they just go out and kill animals? Because this is the most violent that I ever have been to any animal, and it's only on video games. And I feel great joy when I kill the animal on a video game, the monster, because I once yeeted myself out of a game. I was so angry that my friend killed a dog in the video game. I got so angry, I didn't talk to him. I left the call. I was like, fuck you, and I left. We made friends after that. He forgave me. Don't play the old ones. It requires a level of autism. People who start with the quality of the life kind Monster Hunter World would not like. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal W. Yeah. Just for the music. Fictional animals, though. Like if you were to buy a game where you hunt cats in Tokyo, yeah, I would not do that. I'm sorry, I wouldn't do that. I also feel sorry and bad when they make certain noises, certain monsters. If they are a bit too much like real animals, then I'm like, oh fuck, I can't do this. Like there's certain noises that they make that I'm like, I feel bad. But then I also kill them. So join me on that. Join me here. ThatDarnKitteh games. No, ThatDarnKitteh games. There's the actual. It's an actual channels. Channel. Show me a channel. Wow. There we go. Woohoo! 44 subscribers, guys. Let's go. Here you go. But I'll be on Twitch anyway. If anyone's watching on Twitch, whenever I stream, I go on Twitch. So there's that. Okay. Where are we at? Here. Okay, we've got. Yeah, let's go. The current study follows correlational and cross-sectional design has been conducted in Spain. We've got that. Okay, we did the sampling. Sorry, I've already read that. Measures to obtain, we did that. Exposure to use of violent video games. Participants had to indicate, on the one hand, the frequency with which they play video games, the names of the video games they have played, and the number of hours, and then the one they've played the most in their whole life. In order to categorize these video games as non-violent or violent, the classification proposed by the European. Okay, so they use the PEGI. Thing. That makes sense. It's a bit. Excuse me. It's what's the name? It's standardized journal. It's this is called. Sorry, the name of this is Video Games, Violence, Justification, and Child to Parent Violence, published in the Journal of Child and Family Studies in 2024. Atheist Gamer, hello. Okay, we got the objectives. So measures. Okay, so they use PEGI. It makes sense. PEGI is a rating system used in more than 35 European countries, developed by Interactive Software Federation of Europe. The criteria followed to consider as a participant as a violent video game player was as follows. One of the video games described as the most played in their lifetime is either a video game suitable for over 18-year-olds, or 2 video games suitable for over 16-year-olds. Okay. So this is how they classified if somebody is a player of violent video games. It just has to be over 18. So I suppose, yeah, over 18 will just, I suppose you can have a very sexy game without violence, but it's still a violent video game, considered a violent video game. Good night, y'all. Night, granola. Okay, so we've got that. And it had to be so one of the video games described as the most played in their lifetime is either a video game suitable for over 18-year-olds or 2 video games suitable for over 16-year-olds. So they just did, if you've got 2, it's fine. 2 16 plus or 1 18 plus. Okay. 2 participants indicate that they have played violent video games for more than 50 hours in the last 6 months, taking into account the age rating of the games, multiplying, by 1 the number of hours in the case of games suitable for over 16, and by 2 if the game is suitable for over 18. So they've just like, what's the name? Hi Jeff. But so they've just like, okay, well we've just made this factor of 2, like, times it. Actually, it's 100% more if it's 80. The severity of an 18 plus game versus a 16 plus game. Okay, so if you are on an 18 plus game I suppose it is a pretty violent game. I was thinking of Doki Literature Club or something, like you've got an over 18 video game. It's still considered violent. Okay. Anyway, so and they've just decided if it's for 18-year-olds, you're just going to increase the number, and that's gonna help it. That's gonna help them. The questionnaire has a total of 21 items which evaluate exposure to violent behaviors in different contexts. Participants indicate the frequency with which violent actions have occurred in different contexts. Each item is scored on a 5-point Likert type scale. Oh God, I need my textbooks back. 0 never, fought every day. In this case, only scores for violence exposure on television. How often have you seen a person insult someone? Oh my gosh, really, guys? Okay, so we're really defining violence quite widely. How often have you seen a person insult someone on TV? That's psychological violence. Were taken into account in the study. Cronbach's alpha internal consistency coefficient for the television violence exposure scale was 0.82. Yeah, you see, when you're introducing so many numbers into the humanities, you're trying to make it sound very scientific. But like at the end of the day, the data comes from people just answering little questions. And yeah, that's a weakness in itself. Do you mean games could be rated 18 because of nudity, but they have labeled it as violence? Yes, that's what I mean, atheist. But unless that PEGI doesn't work that way, that it is, if it is rated 18 plus, it's because of violence. I don't know. So questionnaire, exposure to violence questionnaire. Like in this case, only scores for violence exposure on television. Like violence, do you guys think violence as like we need to be talking about being insulted on TV? Maybe that's a certain level of violence, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I've played GTA. I never thought of any violence. Yeah, exactly. It's. I don't, it seems like these studies are done to find that correlation. They want to find the correlation. And I'm not getting it. We're not going to ban these things. I think the people that are going to perpetrate violence they're likely to be triggered by these things in any case. Doesn't matter what they're doing. They're going to find violence themselves. They're going to do it. But I suppose what they're trying to say is, no, there's risk factors. So if you just take away this risk factor of violent video games, we'll have fewer psychopaths. I promise, fewer violent psychopaths. Okay, justification of violence. So if you've just joined us, part of this whole study is talking about. So we've got the violent video games aspect. Okay, we've got the child parent violence. Okay, so you've got to find that. You've got to measure that. So you've got to say whether there's violence in their video games or their TV or whatever it is. And then you've got to also think about whether the outcome behavior is violence to their parents, because that's what they're studying in this particular study. And then the other thing that they were talking about was justification of violence. So they're looking at this variable as it's creating some sort of mechanism in the child where they think, because I'm justified in doing this in violence, because I have a reason for violence, I can go and perpetrate it. So that's like another factor they're studying here. Before video games, there was tons of violence and murder. What was their excuse? Magazines, maybe. Reading. Stories, fiction. I mean, even history itself. Okay, the subscale consists of 9 items that evaluate justification of the use of violence. That is, adolescent's approval of aggression in certain circumstances. So it's basically trying to figure out whether the adolescent thinks that violence is a solution sometimes. Sometimes they might hit us for our own good. The items are rated on 5-point Likert scale from 1, not at all, to 1 to 5, very much, in the present study. Why didn't you use the other kind of Likert scale with 0? I hate that. Consistency, let's do it. I suspect video games can make someone apply an appropriate amount of violence in some situations rather than excess. What it makes them more aware of the level of violence that they could perpetrate. That maybe it's a moderating effect. I think they kind of brought that up, atheist. So then we go to assessment of pathological computer gaming. Oh, this is another thing that they were talking about, is whether there is gaming addiction. Would you guys say, if you've ever been, anyone in chat, have you ever been addicted to gaming? Or addicted to anything? I think that it often coincides with aggression. You take away the thing you're addicted to, and you get aggressive. You'll be aggressive in pursuing getting it back. You become agitated. You become irritable if you're addicted to anything and it's not there. That's usually when it comes out. So what they're talking about here with pathological computer gaming is, if you're addicted to computer gaming, I think that was part of their hypotheses. So if we just think about the hypotheses again, they did say the exposure, pathological gaming would be associated with higher levels of CPV. That's what they were thinking about in terms of. I would agree with that. So they didn't make an hypothesis regarding exposition to violence in video games and CPV. No specific hypothesis was made due to the incongruent results in previous studies. So the other hypothesis was justification of violence would be associated with higher levels of CPV. the exposure of violence on television would be associated with higher CBV. So they refrained from making the hypothesis that more exposure to video games would mean higher child-parent violence. So a child being what do you call it? Violent towards their parents. Sorry, I'm a lot of people. If you've been here, I'm repeating myself, but I'm just trying to get you guys interested in what I'm currently talking about. Okay, I'm older than all. Yes, I love gaming. I've been addicted to basically everything I've ever done. Yes, anything good can get addictive. Still am addicted, but I'm not going to kill anyone if it's taken away. You can stop anytime, right, Master? You can stop anytime. Is my video getting janky? Because I think the camera is gonna start getting tired. It is a phone camera after all. Okay. So they got a 15-item scale to assess addicted video gaming behavior, not quantified with the criteria of pure time spent playing, which is considered important but not sufficient criterion. Okay. Interesting. Wouldn't you think addiction is about time spent playing? Maybe it is about I suppose what it's doing in the person's life. Maybe they do limit it. Okay. But also by means of further criteria such as craving. Okay. Craving, tolerance, continued consumption. The items on the scale represent all the established criteria of pathological computer gaming. Using patterns, how many hours do you spend playing on a day of the weekend? And aspects of emotion regulation of video game behavior. How often do you play to avoid negative feelings such as boredom and grief? That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. That's the whole point that you play a video game, guys. How often? Every time I play a video game, I'm avoiding grief and boredom. I think video game addiction is more about what they think about when they aren't gaming. Yeah, like, is that all you think about? Are you only thinking about going back to your game? And it's the only thing that is on your that's addictive behavior. You are not functioning outside of that. That's it. The only thing you're pursuing is gaming. I think I got into that. I was addicted to gaming, streaming, I suppose, during COVID. I think I got very much the only thing that I was thinking about outside of anything I was doing was like, okay, when's the next time I'm going to play? When's the next time I'm going to play? But yeah, that did coincide with COVID, so I'll try and give myself an excuse. Sometimes in strategy games on mobiles, I see some people attack stronger players. Maybe it's not because of lack of gaming. Maybe it's they never read Sun Tzu. Like, what are you saying? I think video game addiction is, we've done that. That's what it feels like to be addicted to heroin too. Yeah. Okay. So it's like, I take that back. Have not played since 4 days ago. Okay. So you're not addicted. Okay. And aspects of emotional regulation of video game behavior. How often do you play to avoid negative feelings? The items are rated on a 5-point Likert scale or in an open answering pattern. For the purpose of the study, the 2 open answer items, how many hours do you play on an average weekday? And we got to hope that these kids even know the answer to this and that they're not lying because they're scared their mom's going to find out. And how many hours do you play on a day of the weekend? We're codified in a 1 to 4 point scale. God, I'm just thinking of the awesomeness of when you got to the weekend and you were like, let us game the whole fucking weekend. So good. Like, I played Skyrim a lot. I just stayed in Skyrim. I lived in Skyrim for a long time because I hadn't gamed in many years. And then it's my husband's fault. He wasn't my husband at the time, but he got me a PlayStation 4. And the first game I wanted to play was Skyrim, and I stayed on that. I was a student, and I played a lot, and I mean a lot of Skyrim. They do not correctly assess the violence they ought to use or when to use it. Never mind, I'm half awake. Need coffee. Go get coffee. I take that. Yeah, okay, so we good. Okay, there. So we're talking about a scale of how much they play and how much what they feel around it. Okay, child to parent aggression. So this is now this is a questionnaire where they've already said there's a weakness of people reporting this, but you're going to hope that they were taking part in the study. Maybe they'll be honest with you. And this instrument assesses violence performed by adolescents against their parents. And listen, as we spoke about earlier, I'm interested in how this works because they spoke about financial violence and psychological violence and things like that. But I think a lot of people are really interested in physical violence because, a kid being abusive, whatever, it's a parenting problem. I'm just like, don't allow that to happen. You got led away by a wasp, but you didn't get stung, right? Okay. This instrument assesses violence performed by adolescents against their parents and consists of 20 parallel items, 10 referring to the mother and 10 to the father. Okay, and we've only had, there was like 0. something percent had a single parent household, and 0. something percent as well had a, a deceased parent. In each block of 10 items, 7 of them refer to psychological violence. Egg, you yelled at your father when you were angry. Okay, I suppose this is violence. My example is that I'm Italian, and that's what you do. You yell because everybody in your house is yelling, and that makes it dysfunctional. I know. Okay, 3 to physical. Okay, and 3 to physical aggression. Example: you have pushed or hit your father in a fight. Yeah, that's a problem. Try that. Just try it. Like, try. I can't imagine pushing my parents. I yelled a lot. I can tell you that. But putting my hands on my parents, it does not compute. It's like how would you, like, yes, put hands on your sister, throw your sister, pull your sister's hair, do all of that sort of stuff, but you never touch your parents because that's just not it. They're bigger than you, and I suppose that was established when I was a child that they're bigger than me, and I don't need to fight them. It's just not a good thing to do. I was led away. I don't know. Wasps in Cape Town are like pets, I guess, not the fear-inducing stuff Americans or Aussies would have you believe. Maybe a different genus. Take a photo for me, Cyberinger, and send it on the Discord because I am terrified of South African wasps. Those are proper. The ones that are here are like orange, and I'm not really like that scared of them. My family is Irish. We basically only yell too. Yeah, just this is how we express ourselves. We yell. I've had to calm myself down for my husband because that's not how it worked in his household. They were very nice and nobody raised their voice. If you raise your voice, there's violence. It's like, no, we're literally just talking. That's the thing that you had to get used to. Like my brother-in-law had to get used to it. My husband had to get used to it in our family, where it was like, oh, they don't hate each other. They just yell. It's not actual violence. It's just volume. That's what it was. And I'm not saying that. I'd say I prefer that because at least there is some release of emotion, but sometimes that is too chaotic. But I'd prefer it to silence. Every single move you see on WWE, you are curious about on your sibling, always. I never did any of those. And I think my cousin tried that on his sister. My male cousin, he would do that. But never tried it with me. Because I was just not about that life. Okay, I'm not fighting you that way. City wasps aren't the same as Karoo wasps. The horsefly. I was so terrified when I first heard about that. I'll send a picture when I find it, and you're the Discord, I guess. I'm the Discord. On my Discord, yes. Whenever. My family is Irish. We basically only yell too. Okay. Oh, yes, guys. I'm going to see... speaking of posting things or whatever, I might turn on the community tabs, where you might be able to just look out for that. I haven't turned it on, but it is an option. It's been rolled out. It is something that we can do. I can turn on the community tab where you can actually post to my community tab. It's not like just replying to what I put out. So anyway, see ya, Jeff. Have a good night. Don't play violent video games. Play happy ones. In addition to the items in the original questionnaire, an item was included to assess financial violence. There we go. I wanted to know what this was. You have taken money from your father or father or mother without permission. Bruh. You go and you get your mom's bag. Okay? Phone's dying anyway. Go and charge. Don't let it die. That's what you do. You go and get mom's bag. You go and get dad's wallet. That's how you get money. You don't take it out yourself even and say, Mom, I took this. No, not a fuck. You have to watch them take it out in front of you. I don't know why. I don't remember having this told to me that this is what we're supposed to do. But that was just the rule that you go. And I saw a reel the other day that that's when you go and get your mom's bag because you asked her for $10, and it's like this guy with a briefcase, walking, a high security briefcase. That's what you felt like. I don't remember that rule being laid out. Did you guys have a similar rule? You go to your mom's bag or you whatever. You never get money by yourself. That's stealing. Even if you tell them that I took that, you opened their wallet and you looked at their purse and their stuff. It's not a thing. My mom would kick my ass if I took money out of her purse. Exactly. You don't take it yourself ever. You give them the purse. You even then, it's like I'd give my mom the bag, the whole fucking bag, not the purse. My dad, at least I'll get his wallet, but that's it. Anyway, yeah. Participants should indicate how often they have committed these types of aggressions against their parents in the past year. I want you to tell me that you on your questionnaire you said that they were the parents are not going to find out. Like, the parents are not going to find out that they've done this. I want them not to lie. That's what I'm trying to say. Participants should indicate how often they've committed these types of aggressions against their parents in the past year. Zero, never. This has not happened in my relationship with my mother or father. 2, 3. Very often it has occurred 6 times or more. In the present study, Cronbach's alpha coefficients I forgot what the coefficients are in research. I should. If I was still in academia, I would have remembered that. 0.72 and 0.68 for physical violence against fathers and mothers. Maybe we could look it up. Coefficients. The coefficients are usually what you're supposed to compare it to. And 0.71 for psychological violence against fathers and mothers, respectively. So this is what the measurements they were using. Procedure. Let's go. First, the approval of Ethical Committee of Experimentation of the university. That's what you got to do. I get it. You have to do that. Permission was sought from the different schools to administer the survey. Within them, you have to say this in your study. You really do. Thus, like, it's all part of it. It's like, was this legit, boys? Right, I joined the Discord. Haven't been on this app in 10,000 years. I'm sorry, Cybering. You don't have to. Make sure your notifications are off so you don't get. I mean, it's not a high traffic thing at all, so it's fine. But it's a nice place to put memes. Okay, a self-administered. Okay, participate in research. Explaining the nature and objective of the research to obtain the consent. Please tell me you made sure that the parents are not going to hear the answers. All the center managers we contacted as well also get the parents to say whether they've experienced this violence. Let's compare that. But anyway, see, this is why I'm not an academic, because I'm like, oh, we could do this analysis. Oh, we could do this analysis. Like, focus. Okay. To collect data, a self-administered questionnaire was contributed to the students after providing them with general information about the survey. To ensure the student privacy, the participation was anonymous and voluntary. The participants were requested to give their informed consent and were informed that the completion of the questionnaire was strictly confidential and voluntary. Good. So none of them should specify data that could identify them. Yep. That was the best part of being being a psych student. First year psych student, you would always get invited to be part of studies because it's just like, yeah, obviously that makes quite biased sampling. But it actually was good to be part of studies yourself, so you could figure out how they're doing it themselves, how people are doing these things, what it's like to be part of a study. So I was part of a few of them on campus to collect data, self-administered questionnaire. Yeah. Where we are at specified data could have been all the students who were requested to participate were willing to do so. Well, I should hope so. Parents were notified and given the option of refusing to allow their child's participation. None of the parents refused to allow their child to participate. Good. The administration of the questionnaire was carried out in groups in school classrooms or the assembly hall. That's also a good reason to be part of a study at school. You're like, oh no, I've got to be part of the study. You got to skip class to go and be part of the study. Leaving a space between the participants to avoid influence between classmates. Okay. The survey was conducted in the presence of a teacher with 2 trained researchers administering it. Oh, I want to be a research assistant so bad. They remained present in the classroom throughout the survey and readily addressed any doubts or queries that the participants had. Okay. The statistical analysis of the present ex post facto study were carried out using the statistical package SPSS. I recognize that version 26. I wonder which version we were on in school, in varsity, like 16 or. Multiple hierarchical linear regression analysis were used. Oh, I did not enjoy quantitative, but you have to always make your study quantitative. You have to bring it back to numbers so that somebody will care about it. Otherwise, it's just a descriptive study, and it's just the humanities being the humanities. Blech. You have to make numbers. Okay, your thing has to have your study has to go down to numbers for it to be cool, I suppose. Version 26, multiple hierarchical linear regression. I forgot what that is. Were used with a probability for input. Okay, yeah. In order to analyze the relationship of violent video games, pathological video gaming, justification of violence. So they've got all these variables. They've made questionnaires to turn them into a number, and then they put the number into the statistical analysis to see whether they're correlated. I understand that at least. And that is how far we have to go to make a conclusion. And that's the weakness that a lot of people see in humanities studies. It's like, oh, well, you're making such an extrapolation by turning behavior into numbers, that what's the point of this? That I guess it does still have a place in psychology. It still has a place because you can keep studying the same thing. It tries to make it at least a little bit more robust scientifically. But then you just got to realize that it is still a humanities study. It's not the same thing as a physics study. It's not a hard science. Okay. So probability. In order to analyze the relationship of violent video games, pathological video gaming, justification of violence. So these were all measures. Sex, that's the variable, educational level, and violent TV exposure of the participant with CPV, following the usual protocol. Centered scores were used in order to avoid multicollinearity problems. Okay. Previously, a partial correlation matrix between the variables in the study controlling for participants' sex and academic level was calculated to verify the pattern of relationships and to identify excessively high correlations between variables. Okay, so they're doing that to cover their ass. Ooh, the data was made openly available. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, it was conducted, guys. It was conducted in 2023. Okay, table 1 shows the descriptive data. I like descriptive data. Let's do that. Okay. Standard skewness, kurtosis. Oh, I forgot all of these terminology, these things. I need my RDA textbook back. Table 1, descriptive statistics of pathological video gaming, violence, justification, violent TV. So they put all of that. I prefer it in a visual, but anyway. Financial standard deviation, so maximum 3. CPV mother, CPV father. Psychological, you can see psychological is already the max is even higher. Violent TV exposure, psychological. Violence justification 60. Interesting. As the highest. Okay. So you've got the results, got all the tables. Discussion. The present study contributes to increase the knowledge about CPV. Really? I don't like these kinds of things. I would prefer qualitative. Conclusions and implications. Okay, let's just get to the conclusion quick. Despite the previous limitations, the study contributes to increasing knowledge about CPV in general, and specifically the variables that could be associated with this phenomenon. Therefore, it provides valuable information, because we've always got to do that. That's what our study has got to do, is it's got to justify itself all the way through. With this phenomenon, therefore, it provides valuable information for the prevention of this type of violence. Yeah, the more we know, the more we can stop it. Cool. Although much research has analyzed the influence of video games, almost no study has done so to date in the contents of CPV. So that's their look at them. We looked at CPV. We had the CPV measurement. Blah blah. In this research, we found that the exposure to violent video games is not associated with CPV rates. Okay, so it's not associated. There's no found that the CP exposure to violent video games is not associated with higher. I've got to download a bunch of stuff before I lose access through my school. Yeah. That is annoying. I didn't do that before I lost access. You can still pay for access though, right? You can pay as a library member at your university. I looked into doing that. However, we found a significant relationship between pathological gaming and CPV committed against both parents. So pathological gaming, it seems like the pathology is comorbid with violence between pathological gaming and CPV committed against both parents. This could imply that the impact of exposure to video games on CPV varies depending on the presence of pathological gaming. So normal gaming, good, fine, no CPV. But pathological gaming, it seems like pathological behavior would lead to further pathological behavior. It would correlate with it, but not on violent video games consumption per se. Good. We're not making that conclusion. However, the fact that the strength of relationships found between pathological gaming and CPV is not very high suggests the existence of other variables that undoubtedly also play a role in the origin of CPV. That's the thing we come back to with these studies, psychological studies. So many variables involved. So thank you so much, but that's usually a conclusion that I will come to with any study is like, cool, but there's so many variables involved in a human. I would love for us to be that simple, but we're not. For example, recent studies have shown that violent behavior has significant biological, evolutionary, and genetic origins. Really? That seems to make sense. Therefore, you know what, guys, we're going to get into evolutionary psychology. It's not as lame as I thought when I first learnt about it. There's violence in Shakespeare and unusual violence amongst literature majors. Woohoo! They get very poetically violent. Oh geez, maybe they're just violent assholes anyway. Yeah, that was my hypothesis. People are just violent anyway. Therefore, considering the ongoing debates about the relationship between exposure to general and violent video games with violent behavior, it becomes essential to conduct research that can test causal relationships between these variables. Jeez. So how do we do this? What are we researching? We are looking at violent video games and violence towards your parents. And what they have found is that there is actually no correlation. There's no relationship between playing violent video games and higher child-parent violence, so where you commit violence against your parent. But what did happen is that if you were pathologically a gamer, as in you had some sort of gaming addiction, you were more likely to be violent to your parents as a child. in this study, of course. As the study is of a correlational nature, it is not possible to draw such conclusions. In addition, the results also show significant relationships or justification of violence and CPV committed against most parents. So, oh yes, there's one mechanism is justification of violence, having this belief that underneath you have, what's the name? There are certain, the belief that at certain times you can be violent for good enough reasons. Funding, the research was funded by Spanish Ministry of Science and Malaga University. Funding of open access publishing. Thank you for open access. Really love that. Okay, references. So many of them. It's like all of this work, really. All of this data here and everything. This is funny. It really is funny when you look at these kinds of things. It's like, this is what we're doing with human behavior. We're trying to put it into these little bounds and turn us into data. I understand the reason we need to do it, but then there's me with, but then you can have a qualitative study which is in a lot more detail, which is so much fun to do, which I love. But then it's like, yeah, but we can't make it scientific. We can't go further with that. We can't apply your results. We can only suggest. But that's what we do with quantitative research anyway. Is you only anything just suggests when it comes to humans. But yeah, that's research. The music. Didn't this theory exist about metal? Yeah, probably. I remember it being a worry of my own parents that you're violent if you like metal music. I watched an interview with an ex-neo-Yazi thug once who claimed being in violent situations makes you better at it. I think that's true. Experienced fighters are more likely to win a fight. Yeah, and an experienced fighter knows that is what happens with humans is we do what has worked. So if it's worked for them, they're going to continue doing it. Video games can educate someone in how to fight well in some sense, using advanced stealth tactics, etc. Maybe it can add to you learning some sort of strategy or things like that. So there are positives to it as well. But yeah, they're saying basically there's a lot more variables that like, hello, wouldn't the a description of the parents be part of the variables as well? What kind of parent falls victim to violence from their child? What kind of parenting style? All of those things would be part of this. Most mixed quantitative and qualitative. Well, yeah, that's basically what it's been doing. When it comes to when we're talking about questionnaires, they're like, we're just going to turn our questionnaire results into quantitative. That's basically how it is. And that's me shaking due to caffeine. So if someone is inexperienced, they may go overboard more easily. Maybe. I mean, certain violent criminals and things like that, they ramp up to it, but then there's some that just it's their first perpetration and they didn't escalate it. They went straight to 100. They wanted to figure out who died. They wanted to feel how it is to kill someone, and that's all they did. We are good for to stop here. I was going to go into some crime research. I think we can do that as Friday's stream, if you're interested. I know that you guys want me to watch stupid videos, but they come in between, okay, when the serious stuff. I really enjoyed reading the stuff and commentating on it. And excuse me, I'm hungry, so my stomach is like making me. It's burping nothing in it. Anyway, the point is, I just wanted to react to something a little bit serious, but not too crazy either. So, not too nerdy either. Send me some studies you want to read on stream. That's what I want to do. I want to, tell me what you guys want to, or like the duo. Yeah. I can, so you can send it, so you could give it to me. cool. If I can, I'll see if I can find some things that I have no access to, because even just having the just the normal open source stuff to read is interesting enough, because we only go through one at a time. But yeah, what kind of, guys, tell me so that I can tell Rex, is fantasy politics okay? we could actually go, there's so much research that we could look at. Fantasy politics is worth talking about. Fantasy politics is okay. Hypothetical. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. But if you guys are still around in the next hour, okay, I'm taking an hour, and then I'm going to have a bit of a play of a video game over on ThatDarnKitteh Games. So let's see, just join me there, over here. Or look up a video called Geopolitics of Dark Sun, a YouTube called Dungeon Masterpiece. Geopolitics, that's cool. Okay. Well, we can do that on Friday. Shorten, you can see if you're into it. Okay. We can do that. But what we're going to do before any of that is, okay, going to play some games. Yay. Hi, Daisy. Play some games. But then we have a think tomorrow, and we're going to talk about entertainment itself. The price of entertainment and things like that. That is what our think is going to be about. So keep that in mind. That will be a panel show. If you're new here, we do those on Thursday nights for the Americans, but Friday morning for me. I would argue violence being popular in games is points towards humans having an appetite for it rather than violence in games causing the appetite. Absolutely. Yeah. So we will be doing that in the think. See you guys tomorrow for the think. But then after the think, we have a break, and then we stream again. So are you doing an outro? Yes, I'm doing an outro. And the outro every time I join. Yeah, I don't. Well, the thing is, Paffy, I'm gonna be on my gaming channel just now. I'm just gonna have some lunch, and I'll probably tinker with the with my whole setup, because I haven't streamed gaming in a very long time. But that's where I'm going to be going. So you can come and chill there if anyone is interested in that. Have a nice life, everybody. And I will see you soon. I haven't uploaded the reaction content outro. So we're just going to have the spurgy. We did spurg, right? We spurged. Subbed. See you later there. Yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice life. And let me turn off the outro music, the intro music. Enjoy this outro song, courtesy of Creamage, of course.
I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. Daisy's a menace, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. She goes meow 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 meow. We're squirky as fuck. Daisy's a mess, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. We're squirky as fuck. She goes meow 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 meow. We're squirky as fuck. Okay, thanks. Bye.